Welcome to the HTS Open Charlotte Qualifier presented by LVT. We are in the grand finals, OpTic Gaming versus FaZe, and with me, I have my duo, Why Not Be Casting. Tony, this has been an incredible time today thus far. 30% of games have gone to a game 5 today.
Okay, well, so are you telling me that you think OpTic and FaZe are gonna go to a game 5?
I really hope so. I hope we go to a reset. Oh, I hope it just lasts the rest of the night. I don't want to watch the Super Bowl. I think this is so much cooler. So I just hope we have a great matchup here.
Well, I mean, OpTic did go to game 5 with SSG, we found out.
Yep.
And FaZe were able to 3-1 SSG. So by the transitive property, FaZe should be able to send us into a reset. And maybe OpTic get mad, and then we go to a game 5, and then who knows in that game 5. That's how my math works, you know. So FaZe had to reset the bracket to send us to another best of 5 series in order for them to become your champions. Meanwhile, OpTic only having to win 1 series in order to win it here. And we talked about it before. I really think OpTic wanted this matchup against FaZe. They would have been happy to play against SSG, I'm sure, but I feel like they want to go in and say, look, we want to prove that we are the #1 seed, undisputed, going into Charlotte, and nobody's gonna stand in their way.
OpTic gotta come firing on all cylinders, because we talked about this in the green room, Tony. FaZe look really good today. This is going to be a best of 5. We're starting off with Strongholds on the streets, and you know I like stats, Tony, so I want to bring up a stat to everybody. On OpTic Gaming, Lucid is #1 in damage per death, which is, I think, a very important statistic. He has 500. But Royal 2, on the other end of things on FaZe, 600 damage per death. I don't even think sometimes I get 600 damage per game. So absolute incredible damage coming out of these guys. Those are the two I definitely want to watch in this first game.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is your grand finals, and I've said it once, I'll say it again. When you're looking for a fight, you go to the streets of New Mombasa. Take it to the streets, and we're gonna find out if the green wall will reign supreme, or will FaZe Clan be able to phase right through them and take us into another best of 5 series. Rockets in the middle. Don't forget about that Stalker rifle, and of course you got that Bulldog that both of these teams are going to be fighting over. The sandbox run streets. Who's coming out on top?
We're gonna find out here. FaZe, I've seen countless times on countless maps, they've got this beginning strat that really works. This time OpTic is ready to quell. They only get 1 down, and they're able to recover off that 1 death. The strafe out of Formal, not enough, as Renegade's able to trade there, but in the hands of APG, it's a very important power weapon. He's got the rockets.
APG has the rockets in hand, but it looks like FaZe might have been able to get away with the Stalker rifle, and of course the Boom Booms get to work immediately. A double kill quick out of a pure gentleman as he escorts the enemy to the black screen, goes after World 2 as well. So that's going to be a quick 3 down for FaZe Clan, and APG's not done, going in for more bit of an ego challenge there, but he knew his teammate had his back.
Yeah, OpTic are firing on all cylinders again. I always talk about this, but you can really tell by the movement of a player, the way he moves his reticle, etc. You can really tell what kind of a state he's in. And OpTic Gaming look really solid. It's going to take shutdowns like that from Snakebite to slow them down just a bit. But as you can see, the triple cap is attempting to go through as OpTic has surpassed that 30-point mark.
Luckily, Frosty was able to take down Trippy before grabbing hold of the Alpha side, but OpTic continue to pressure FaZe. They want Alpha, and they're not going to give it up without a fight. And even if they lose it, they still have a stronghold on Bravo and Charlie. Lucid clearing out the Charlie side as World 2 was trying to get some kind of flank in. The nades trying to clean them up, but the green wall won't be broken that easily. The setup is locked in, and FaZe are struggling to find that perimeter kill.
That is exactly what this is. It's a wall. FaZe are stuck constantly spawning on that A side. You see they're pressuring heavy on B, but they're not able to get those initial kills. As you can see, 2 down once again for FaZe. Not really in a position to get B. And the minute he steps into B, Formal's going to come up with the rockets. As you can see right there, he does miss both rockets, which is going to be very unfortunate. And that might mean that FaZe get this cap on B side.
Trippy able to get the first kill, but can't find the second, and OpTic get wiped off of the face of Streets. FaZe get their double cap that they were looking for, and now we're putting valuable points on the board. They're actually not done. They're gonna get greedy, and now we have a mat on mat crime. World 2 versus Formal. Formal clears him out with the commando. Love that patient play by Formal, from going from a trip cap to losing Charlie, and you see OpTic already starting to push forward over towards the Bravo side. Well played by OpTic Gaming. It starts with that patience.
Yeah, they do get C though. They end up contesting on the C side, so you see they're probably gonna push towards B. That's exactly what they do. It looks like FaZe are doing a great job of just out-rotating OpTic at this moment. But OpTic have that very comfortable lead, and with the spawns on A, they're gonna have to fight out the entire 3 lanes that FaZe are holding.
FaZe holding on to the double cap and now have the opportunity to do the same thing that OpTic did to them in order to gain this lead in the first place, and that's have a stronghold on the entire map. Puts the Bulldog to work. He's a snake. Why is he barking? I'm not sure, but he's still putting it to work. Trippy down to 1 shot, able to take him down. Finally, Snakebite hits the black screen, but the damage has been done. FaZe clear out the Bravo side, and Formal has to wait for his teammates to come off his spawn. In 22 seconds, we'll see a rocket launcher. Can OpTic get their hands on him and increase their lead, or maybe get it back, because FaZe are about to steal that lead away?
And it all stemmed from that double kill from Snakebite, a double kill he wasn't supposed to get. OpTic set that up perfectly to go for the pinch, but Snakebite with a shotgun in hand really puts it to work. And as you can see, FaZe has finally gotten that lead, and World 2 doing his best to stay alive, and he gets a beautiful kill on the Trippy, which is gonna potentially keep securing C, but they're also going for that triple cap on A.
And as 3 go down, you see FaZe start to push forward. Like you said, the triple cap being stolen away before OpTic even know what happens, and Frosty retreats back over towards the Bravo side. Now the moment that OpTic hop on a base, all they're gonna do is put a beacon on their head of exactly where FaZe have to change their attention to. They hop in over toward the Alpha side. They need to try to play for something. FaZe starts to rain down grenades, make it as hard as possible. Trippy ends up being eliminated. OpTic go 4 down once again. FaZe have stolen the lead, and they haven't looked back one time. Formal now comes off a spawn. He can't move. He has to wait for his teammates to spawn up, and that's valuable time being soaked up by the rest of FaZe Clan.
Look at all the incredible angles FaZe are holding, and I talked about those spike grenades. I talked about how important they are. They were able to clear out that base on A, stop the cap from happening, and we're looking at a 183 to 80 lead from FaZe, and it all stemmed off that double kill that Snakebite was able to put through.
Another 3 down for OpTic Gaming. FaZe continue to win the Slays battle. World 2 continues to shred the green wall. It's the red wrecking ball going right through them. You told me that FaZe came out of the elimination bracket. You told me that FaZe came out of the losers bracket. I don't believe you, Tim, because the way FaZe are playing, they're playing like straight winners right now, and they're ready for the reset.
They're pushing these staggered spawns so very well, and they're able to isolate so many players, but it's players like Lucid right there, getting the double kill in a situation where he shouldn't have. And now because of that, he's awarded this B side and potentially some points on the board for OpTic Gaming. This is all but over.
Formal and Trippy getting back-to-back kills. APG already working onto the Alpha side, but the former MVP and Frosty able to take down APG before that Alpha gets stolen, and Lucid, the current MVP, has to come in with the double kill, pick up the pieces. It's the battle between Lucid and Frosty so far this game. I think whoever wins that battle might just win the game.
Yeah, this is definitely far from over. I mean, OpTic is really now starting to get control here with 11 points needed for FaZe. It's those kills that are so important. Of course, the sandbox as well. In the hands of World 2, he's got the Stalker and the Bulldog to work with. OpTic are starting to scrape away at this ginormous lead that FaZe have mounted, but it's gonna take some perfect halo to make sure FaZe can't get these 11 points.
Formal and Trippy try to push up, but they didn't get their timing exactly right, and because of that, both players end up going down. Lucid now being left by himself. Despite having the Bulldog, it wasn't enough to keep Lucid alive, and APG falls as well. With this, FaZe are pushing right over towards Bravo. OpTic have to desperate to try to get them out of it, and somehow FaZe are ready, but somehow Formal gets himself a double kill. Trippy goes for the low detonation, goes for the 1v1 piv, throws a desperate grenade, tries to Marty Dom him to death. The rest of OpTic are just flooding over towards this Bravo side. They need to slide in. It's not gonna happen here. Just 2 more seconds and that's it. FaZe take game 1.
We've got a little bit of deja vu going on. FaZe taking game number 1 and not just taking it, literally stealing it away in convincing fashion. But we've got to talk about this a little bit. OpTic were waiting in the grand finals for a little bit of time there while FaZe kind of warmed up and stayed hot throughout that losers bracket in the losers finals. So maybe we're talking about a little bit of a warm-up situation here. Maybe having to get back into the groove. No matter how much matchmaking you play, it's nothing like a tournament. So maybe game 2 is where they come back and look at this. They're getting right into it. Aquarius Slayer is going to be our game number 2.
OpTic Gaming now on the ropes here. FaZe Clan, they love having that momentum on their side, and going to this Aquarius Slayer, you know they're feeling good. It's one of their bread and butter, and as of right now, they're looking like butter. They're on a roll. From the losers bracket finals here to the grand finals, they haven't dropped a step yet, and FaZe are looking to go in for the bracket reset. Can OpTic slow them down here? That's what I want to find out, Tim.
And that's a good point, Tony, about the bracket reset, right? When you're OpTic, you're in the back of your head, no matter how far you try to push that to the back of your head, you always understand that this can go to a bracket reset and you do have another chance if you lose this series. I'm not saying that they're not trying their hardest. I'm saying that that's in the back of their head. They have that to fall back on. Basically a get out of jail free card if you're playing Monopoly. So we'll see if they're going to try and close this series out here. But it's going to have to start with this game number 2 on Aquarius Slayer. And again, a map that I think FaZe is actually really strong on. The playstyle really suits them with such a small map like Aquarius. You see APG, OpTic started to control the power weapons at the very beginning of that game, Tony, but FaZe really took control towards the end, and I think that was the turning point.
I feel like throughout Orlando and Worlds, which obviously OpTic with back-to-back land champions, I feel like OpTic tend to bully teams. And the reason why I said that is because I feel like there were very few teams that came in with the coordination and the teamwork that OpTic had. And on top of that, also had the firepower. You know, some teams have the coordination, some teams have, you know, the teamwork, but they didn't have that firepower to go blow to blow with them. Before, only SSG were the only team that I thought that were able to go toe-to-toe in both departments. But now a new challenger has appeared.
Right.
FaZe Clan are playing as well as OpTic. Damn it, FaZe Clan are playing better. And I'm loving every single moment. I didn't want OpTic to just sweep season 2. I wanted somebody to challenge them and make it hard on them. And we might have just found it. FaZe Clan, I sold my stock. I ain't gonna lie to you. I might have to invest back in again. Let me tell you, man, that stock might be going up. I'm just saying. They didn't have a Frosty last year. They didn't have a World 2. They didn't have a Snakebite. So I might have to read $ FZE, whatever it is. I don't know.
Here we go. Game number 2 in the grand finals. FaZe are up 1-0, all ready to start this series off. OpTic Gaming gonna need to answer back, and it's gonna have to be right now. You don't want to go down 2-0 in a series. It's simple math, right? We'll see if OpTic can come together here. We've seen, you know, I haven't seen the best performance. We know what they're capable of. Every single member on the OpTic roster is capable of just taking over a game. We haven't seen that yet. Let's find out if we can see that on Aquarius Slayer.
Camouflage in the middle. Both teams having access to that thrust, and obviously the heat wave plays a very important role on this map, but for me it's all about those BRs, all about those pure 1v1 gunfights in between where the active camouflage comes up. Can OpTic Gaming win those pivotal battles between those camouflages and steal these camouflages? In the wise words of Farouk, let's lock it up.
Tony, you just gave me chills, taking me back. The camo in the hands of Trippy, though. Frosty with a little bit of an overextension on that first play, right? He goes past P2, and because of that, Trippy's able to get this camo, but the value is not there. I always talk about the value of the camo because you can get so much out of it, but sometimes you can just blunder it, and that was the case with that camo on Trippy.
And I seen Lucid and Formal trying to work a little bit of a bait and switch together. They got to get on the same side of the map here. Lucid finding a couple players right off the rip. The grenades from Dynamos to Frags gonna deal with Lucid before doing any damage back over to Renegade. And now World 2 Getting a little sneaky with it. Oh, we have some teammate with us, so now Renegade comes in with the bait and switch. That's going to be a double kill seemingly coming out of nowhere. OpTic Gaming already find himself 3 down. Renegade with the heat wave. APG smart, high IQ to retreat back to his spawning players, but now he just gave up that 50% control of the map. FaZe are pushing up here.
And that's where staggered spawns are kind of tough, right? You had a player that was, you know, on the a couple players from FaZe that were on the fridge side, a couple players that were back towards that utility, and they pinched the OpTic players that were inside that base. And when you have spawns like that, you're just able to get these nasty pinches. But regardless of all that, OpTic still has a lead here, 10-6. And they're looking to extend that lead with 2 members of FaZe stuck on this utility side.
And look at Renegade crouched up into that car 2 corner. I wonder if he's gonna stay there until OpTic try to make a move over towards the car 3. Is he just buying time? He knows that camouflage is coming up, so he knows OpTic want to try to get in position. They should be trying to push over toward the car side, but Formal's just as patient as Renegade. Renegade luckily having the heat wave to cover his back, but what happened to the camouflage? Did OpTic get away with it? Trippy somehow gets away with the camouflage, but FaZe are trying to sniff him out.
Trippy camo number 2. We saw that he wasn't able to do much with the first one. Will that be different here with camo number 2? He gets the first kill onto Snakebite, but he's the last member alive, and now the swarm comes through from FaZe. Regardless if he lives here, FaZe are gonna get this top center control, but the cross shot from Lucid, and Trippy comes to clean it up.
Beautiful plays with Trippy and that sidekick, making it look like the main character. I'm surprised he didn't get that stick, and eventually he's gonna be taken down by 2 players. APG and OpTic still want to get aggressive on that. The shots come in, so he's gonna back down. Formal and Lucid are still aggressing forward. OpTic Gaming don't want to give up this position, don't want to give up this control, and now the full collapse comes in. FaZe are cleared out of this base. They're pushing forward into the fridge side. What a beautiful play coming out of OpTic Gaming. That's gonna net them a 3-kill lead. Can they ride that momentum?
Yeah, FaZe have to be careful here. Like you said, momentum. OpTic Gaming are starting to catch players isolated, and it's bringing FaZe down in numbers. As you can see, 3 down for FaZe. Roll 2 was the last member alive. They kill him, but they do know that Renegade is there as well. So Renegade is going to scurry away to his teammate on utility. Some great damage once again coming out there from Snakebite's going to take down APG. That's 2 down for OpTic. This is their chance for FaZe to come back and get map control at the top center of the map.
I shouted out Farouk earlier. APG was shouting out Ogre with the Ogre Twitch. I saw that. I saw it coming in. Camouflage coming up in just 10 seconds here, and you're noticing multiple members of FaZe are already surrounding the top portion of the map. There's no way that OpTic are going to be able to get a hold of that camouflage, excuse me, unless they're able to get the slays and get FaZe off of the car side, get FaZe off of the P side, and luckily that's exactly what they did. Lucid's curve slides almost right into the hands of World 2. Snakebite gonna finish him off there, a bit off a little bit more than he can chew with that curve slide. He might have been able to stay alive if he took a little bit of a different route here, but I believe the camouflage is burnt, so everybody on equal footing right now.
Yeah, and that's a great way to put it, Tony, right? OpTic Gaming have gotten 3 camos as Snakebite gets that triple there, a beautiful triple, but OpTic Gaming get 3 camos. One of them is null and void, but that means 3 camos that are not in the hands of FaZe. And with the score like that is 24-25, imagine if it was the other way around where FaZe had gotten those 3 camos. So great job by OpTic Gaming to be on top of that power up.
I'm noticing that both of these teams are so hesitant just to push up. They're making sure that they watch every single angle. They're not just flying in when it comes over toward the P side. They're making sure they watch every angle, have put that damage in, and then start to push forward. They want to make as little mistakes as possible. That's how much respect both of these teams have for each other, but FaZe are winning some of these engagements, and that gives them a 1-kill lead. And the last thing OpTic want to do is trap themselves off a spawn in a terrible position. So luckily APG and Trippy pushing right over toward the car side. Unlucky for them, FaZe were ready for it. So the first kill comes in. Formal's going to be challenged. 3 down, go OpTic Gaming, and now FaZe increasing that lead. What started off as them down by 1 turned into great gameplay to put them up by 1, and then they continue that forward. This 4-kill lead might as well be double digits with the way they were able to ride those last few kills.
You see how quick they were to converge though, Tony? FaZe Clan got 1 kill onto Trippy, and you saw all of them just hold forward. The minute they get that 1 kill, they're able to hold forward on the rest. Formal's gonna meet his maker as well. 3 go down. APG just spawned up. But a huge lead for FaZe right there. Just watching the rest of this game, how quick FaZe are able to converge off that first kill and make plays happen and regress based off those kills on the board.
Off of screen, Formal was able to take down World 2, and we see trades go in. So we're trying to make some individual plays to put something together, and they're obviously not out of it just yet. You're only down by 4 kills, but like I said before, 4-kill game feels like so much more with the fundamental that both of these teams are playing with right now. It's absolutely impressive. And now Formal gets himself another big kill. World 2 tries to clean up the pieces, but does he know there's multiple members of OpTic there? He is not in a 1v1. He is not in a 1v2. He is in a 1v4. He gets out of dodge. Love that play by him. Renegade now gonna push up over toward the P side, goes in for the challenge, but Lucid simply wins those. World 2 comes in for the cleanup. Now we have another battle between Trippy and World 2 as both teams are leaving it all on the line.
Yeah, OpTic Gaming have kept this respectively close here. Only a 2-kill game now, and like you said, even 4 kills is such an incredible lead, especially on a map like this. OpTic, Formal, Matt doing a great job. Formal is an incredible player, champion in multiple titles and continuing. He's got a lot of flack in this tournament thus far, but proving himself when it matters the most in this grand final series. But a 4-kill lead once again for FaZe.
FaZe are starting to squeeze OpTic out as they're just 7 kills away from taking this game. Lucid trying to make something happen with the heat wave. Sadly, the trades go in. Frosty awarded the kill for that one. Trippy comes in quick. Now you see the fridge side spawners are coming out, and Formal's ready for it. He's pinging him. He's letting him know we cannot allow him out of this fridge. What a play by OpTic Gaming. Formal now gonna rip a double kill seemingly out of nowhere, and just like that, we're tied up at 45 apiece. Camouflage coming up. FaZe are nowhere in position to grab it. They're gonna have to cross-map shots and defend it, but Lucid says absolutely not. Steals active camouflage, and that might just cost FaZe the game.
Yeah, Lucid with camo in hands, 47-45. This is OpTic Gaming's 4th camo in this game, and FaZe have only gotten 1 thus far. And now the information is given. This is all the camo player needs to do is give information, but the bait and switch is so beautiful. 46-47.
Lucid could go down there. There's no chance that Lucid can go down there, but lucky Trippy sets off the remote detonation, so that should equalize it just a bit. He wants that thrust so bad. Frosty's locked in the fridge, puts the player down to 1 shot on the P side. They isolate Frosty, collapse on him immediately, so now you're just talking about 1 more kill. There's nowhere for Renegade to go except for down to the wire. 50-46. OpTic take that game. They're back on the board, and a swing game number 3 is coming up next.
Oh, baby, baby, baby. This is the series we both, and I'm sorry, we all wanted to see as a Halo community, tied up 1-1. And we go to live fire Oddball, and of course the storyline there, right? The very beginning of Halo Infinite, live fire was a strong map for OpTic, but is that still the case today is the question. They're getting right into this next one.
The green wall stands tall. You can't shake them that easily. As close as that game was, neck and neck for most of it. OpTic said all we gotta do is not allow the game to get out of hands. You notice that the moment that FaZe got any kind of momentum and made any kind of plays, what did it get them? A 4-kill lead? OpTic were still in it. The fundamentals were there. They played it well, waited for their opportunity, and once they got it, they strike. The moment that FaZe went 3 down, this is the play right here. Formal was already pinging and showing them where the fridge side spawners are coming in. Don't let them get out. I can already tell you what was happening in those comms. They collapsed on it perfect, got himself a nasty double kill, and they kept it going from there. So well played by OpTic, and I guess that's the reason why they're the back-to-back LAN champions. I guess they're kind of good. I guess you're right.
I guess they're kind of good. You know, Formal's known to be that, essentially that UAV, right? The communication's so good on him, but being able to communicate like that and still play the way he does, just amazes me. The peak shot there for the end, but here we go. Game number 3, I'm sorry. OpTic Gaming versus FaZe in the grand finals. It's live fire Oddball.
And just to remind you guys at home, it's FaZe that still have to win back-to-back series in order to become your champions. OpTic are the ones coming out of the winner's bracket. So even in a tied-up series, beautiful play by Lucid, oh my God. But even in a tied-up series, OpTic still have the advantage here. If there's one player on this FaZe roster that you want to see really step up, that you think the game is going to go where they go, who is it?
I've got to say OpTic. But I've also got to point out that play, Tony. Okay, Renegade peeking on Lucid. Lucid, that's strafe, right? You think they're gonna strafe towards cover, but Lucid with the confidence. I wonder what that's gonna do to Renegade's mental. That play is huge. And a lead though for FaZe. So ball time going in favor of them. They've already approached that 40-second mark.
Lucid absolutely crushing it so far, but it's FaZe the ones that go on a 44-0 run. Sniper rifle in the hands of APG, but looks like he's not gonna go anywhere. Finally, OpTic find himself 3 down. FaZe should continue that ball time, but okay, looks like a bit of a technical difficulty right there. So, oh man. FaZe were looking good. What was that? I want to say it was a 44-0 run, and then they even had OpTic 3 down right there, so they should have got even more ball time on top of that. FaZe coming out hot in that round number 1 of Oddball. So I know you point out that Lucid play. I was gonna say you want to see it again. Here's the replay.
He doesn't hide towards cover. He comes out and wide peek. He peeks there, waits for the shot. Wide peeks here, out of cover. Renegade does not expect that and then jumps out to get the very last shot. That is disgusting. That is pure, unadulterated confidence coming out of Lucid. And that's why he got MVP last year, and that's why he's one of the best in the game.
That is nasty. All right, let me say that one more time. Look at oh my gosh. Jeez. The confidence that you have once you get that body shot, like I feel like whenever I get that body shot with the sniper rifle, I automatic head. Like I have so much confidence. Switch out to the BR. Should be an easy finish kill, but I guess nothing's easy when you're dealing with Lucid and OpTic Gaming. This game number 3 going to be so important. We're going to wait on the admins to kind of feed us a little bit of information here, but I can only imagine some way, somehow, FaZe had that advantage.
Yeah.
It was 44. There's no way we're getting any kind of full reset, and it should be an advantage, at least in 1 round, going to FaZe.
Yeah, potentially playing the differential, but
yeah,
again, we've got to, this FaZe roster, even with that play, we highlight that play from Lucid, they were able to scrap up that ball time, and a lot of teams kind of play that scrappy role, right, where they're kind of able to just rotate so cleanly. And like you said before, right, FaZe was on the way with 3 dead from OpTic, on the way to get that A spawn and that A hold with the ball. So very unfortunate for them. But again, it takes that mental, right? They've got to kind of reset here. It happens. We've been through this before. Let's move on and continue to play our best Halo. We'll get back into this in a minute. What do you think of OpTic's performance? Waiting that grand final so very long, Tony. You think they're performing up to snuff?
I mean, they definitely looked good at that game number 2. But I mean, if I had to say, like, rate them out of 10, I feel like they played at a 9.2.
Like 10 being world champs.
10 being best. I feel like they played at a 9.2.
Yep.
And FaZe played at a 9. Like it was honestly neck and neck. Like I feel like they got that win, but it was so neck and neck right there in that game number 2. And we're talking about 1 or 2 things go FaZe's way.
Right.
And this is 2. Oh, and now this is an elimination game number 3 instead of a swing game number 3. And then even when FaZe came out so dominant, like Lucid got that crazy play. Like you pointed out, you broke it down eloquently. Lucid got that crazy play, like that should be momentum. That should get loud in the chat. They need to play through that, and you still find yourself down 44 points?
Yeah,
not putting a single point on the board. So I don't want to take anything away from OpTic in that way, but FaZe are right then, right there with them.
I agree.
When OpTic wins, and FaZe are dominant when they win. So who knows?
It's going to come down to who plays their best. Again, I talked about this before, having the levels. Each player has levels to them. They flip a switch and you get into that flow state. Flow state's my favorite thing, right? It's that state. For those of you guys that don't know, I'm sure most of you do know, but flow state is that state that you're in that everything kind of just disappears, right? And you're in that zone where you're essentially feeling unstoppable, and that's when you really see some players really shine, especially in these moments where their backs up against the wall. FaZe, they have their backs up against the wall. They've got to win, like you said, 2 best-of-5 series here, and OpTic sitting comfortably on this 1-1 score right now for this grand finals. We'll see if they can close out this game number 2, or if FaZe can answer back.
So I believe in this case, FaZe are going to need 55 points to win 1 round.
56,
and then obviously,
yep.
56 points to win 1 round, and then had to go to 400 to win a 2nd round. So FaZe still having an advantage. Luckily for OpTic, my gosh, their bread and butter is coordination and teamwork. And I think that's exactly what you need in Oddball in order to come back from deficits, in order to take control. So I still think OpTic are very much in this, but as they go 3 down, as Frosty gets himself an overshield, and once again that early ball time goes in favor of FaZe, it gets tough, man.
Yeah, it does get tough. And you say, you know, early ball time, that is one thing, but also all of the power weapons in the hands of FaZe as well. Or in the hands, I should say, of Renegade. He's got Snipe and Heatwave. He's pretty much sitting on this A side being a complete nuisance. He's got to hit some shots, though. He's only got 2 bullets left to work with.
Replays are OpTic going to start to push up. Renegade already chucking a couple of denial grenades to try to deny access. As Renegade now going to have to put that Heatwave to work. Things are getting a little bit more up close and personal. Formal finds out real quick as Renegade brings the heat. And with both players or both teams 2 down, this next play gonna be so important. The body shot onto APG, finish him off with the Heatwave. Lucid finds the kill off his spawn there, but somehow OpTic go 2 down, and Trippy still pushes that ball over toward the C side, closer to the spawning green wall players.
That's a good point. Yeah, the scrappy play we talked about earlier, right? He's pushing the ball, rotating it just a little bit, making sure that it's in position for the spawning players on tower, but that overshield is coming up. So we're gonna see if all of OpTic on this OS side is going to favor them with the OS coming up in 3 seconds.
2 down for OpTic Gaming. The 3rd one falls once again, and FaZe are so good at punishing that final player. Once you go 3 down on them, they find that final player. There's no shot that you're going to make a play against them. Frosty even having the confidence to juggle the overshield into the drop wall, hasn't even popped that overshield just yet. And now those pingers coming, he's letting them know, like, hey, look, the spawners are already pushing the B side. So FaZe are rotating the ball, but that's not going to work. They go 3 down. They tried to make a play to rotate that ball towards Frosty, and they end up going 3 down instead. So well played by OpTic Gaming. Can they keep that going?
And just to point out a great play by Frosty there, you can pop OS as you clamber, so you're pretty much doing 2 animations at the same time, and only the clamber animation shows. Definitely a good way to save yourself some time, those of you guys that did not know. But on board with Trippy, that sniper coming up here very shortly. It's important for him to stay alive and get those kills, but unfortunately he goes down, and so does Lucid. But a 2v2 situation.
Another 3 down going in favor of FaZe. Former, the final player somehow gets himself the early damage, and the nade finishes off Renegade. Now you give Former all the power weapons, the Heatwave and the sniper rifle. FaZe are going to rotate this ball once again. But hold on, is this the round where they're going to play to 56? Hold on here. If that's the case, they're 10 seconds away from coming out, or they might play this to 100. And nope, at this point, Lucid has stopped moving. They're going to take that first round here, and FaZe are going to be 1 round away from going up in the series.
I believe they will keep on playing, though, because it will allow them to get the same spawn they would have got last game if they end up winning here. So as you can see, they're going to play this out because you do spawn on the opposite side of the map for round number 2. But as we can see here, again, the beautiful play. You never expect someone to challenge like that, and when you got the confidence that Lucid has, I mean, that was just such a beautiful play there. Renegade still playing phenomenally though throughout that game, Tony. Didn't really affect him mentally. You know, you can't really let one play like that affect you if you're a professional player. It's like, get over it, right? Move on, start slaying on the next respawn. And of course, as you can see, he did just that. Beautiful job using those power weapons.
Hey, yo, Louis, why you keep showing that clip, bro?
It's a really good clip, dude.
It's Louis' way of communicating to the chat. That's how you know that he's an OpTic fan. My man just keeps showing that one clip, bro. Like, he's gonna wake up in the morning. He's gonna change his iPhone set. He's gonna wake up in the morning to that clip. It's
gonna be his alarm.
Overshield coming up. Gonna be obviously important here. We've seen two times now where FaZe come out with these hot runs early on, so I want to see OpTic really expect that, really play counter to it, and not allow FaZe to get the overshield, not allow them to get that 40-second worth of ball time before they get a single point. I want OpTic to come out a little bit different here in the early game.
I really want to point out Lucid's play right there. As you can see, he was on the cuts when that OS was coming up. The play didn't work out, but he was trying to play aggressive, trying to be that front line because he knew APG had spawned behind him, but honestly, that play obviously didn't work. And that means that Frosty's gonna have overshield in hands. They just gotta get one more slay onto Matt and APG, who's top sandbags, and they can start to get some time here.
Frosty's gonna chase down Formal. Oh man, that was dangerous.
It was.
Formal almost got him on that one, and Lucid will clean that up, so that sniper rifle is gonna change hands. Snakebite gonna try to rotate that ball onto the tower side setup here for FaZe, but I love how OpTic are quick in the action. Even when they're down numbers, they know where FaZe are trying to go, so they immediately cut off those angles, and they're pushing forward. And now Lucid takes advantage of the heat wave and the sniper rifle. Another body shot is going to connect. Renegade might be able to get away with this, but Lucid gets away with the ball, and that's what's most important.
I micro adjust on that flick to hit that body shot, and the player's T-plat was actually really beautiful. Very difficult to do on controller, but he does it. He's still got both power weapons in hand. We're seeing a trend. These players holding both power weapons so efficiently. And OpTic not going to really get too big of a lead off this. They've still got some players of FaZe to deal with, and they're going to have more as FaZe potentially spawning on this tower side, going to be pushing top center.
Lucid makes the player one shot easily, trusts his teammate to come in for the cleanup kill. It was APG awarded that one, but now APG losing teammates left and right, not able to win the pivotal battle against Frosty, so the kill comes in. Renegade secures himself the overshield, and the ball immediately gets rotated towards the rest of the players that are spawning up. That's one thing that happens when you're playing at the top level of competition. There's no wasted time. They're multitasking. They're making sure they control resources, power weapons. It doesn't matter, and they always have that objective at the front of their mind.
Double kill.
Oh, come on. That's not right. God bless. A double kill on a Renegade. OpTic find himself 3 down once again, and,
Oh, man.
this is time that OpTic just don't have right now.
That was tough. That's the discipline right there. You got the repulsor in your hands. You want to try and pressure, but you know, Lucid could have probably taken the jump repulsor approach so that he wouldn't jump as high. Unfortunately, he does go down, but regardless, that's why I'm not a pro. And a Formal is, and he gets a nice headshot, but loses the snipe. 29-21. FaZe have a little bit of a lead here, but as you can see, very scrappy play going through. Each team doesn't have numbers. They're playing aggressive, not really waiting for their team to spawn. More than that, they're just playing aggressive and continuing to try and stagger each side.
Before Frosty goes down, make sure he plays that sniper rifle off the map. High IQ play coming out of Frosty and FaZe, but also good execution by OpTic to be able to break that setup and get the frags they were looking for. So now they're going to push up with it. FaZe coming off a spawn, and they desperately need one or two kills that go in their favor, but OpTic aren't going to make it easy. Off a screen, Frosty takes down Trippy. Formal goes right at Renegade, and now FaZe have found an avenue towards this ball. APG creeping up. Frosty going to deal with him quickly here, so both teams go 2 down. And somehow Trippy has found his way towards the overshield. This can be big for OpTic. Oh.
Wow, that's a huge overshield by Trippy right there. Being the last member alive, like you said, still getting that OS, now going to be able to utilize it to potentially push FaZe off of this B side, but the ball does get played, and now a little bit of slaying has to happen if they want to get some more time on the board. A 10-point lead for FaZe thus far.
FaZe trying to force themselves over towards the B side. They were able to get the kills they were looking for, leaving Trippy by himself, folks. So Trippy's going to try to do as much damage as possible while staying alive, but eventually you just don't have the numbers to work with. Formal has made it over towards that tower side. Going to be important. Lucid gets himself an easy kill here. That's going to be gifted. Just like that, FaZe should slow down a bit as far as the ball time, but obviously damage has been done, and obviously OpTic find himself a bit against the wall.
Yeah, Frosty's not really in a position down bottom center to do much here. He somehow stays alive, which means he's going to be a little bit of a problem on Rat Tunnel, but look how aggressive all of these FaZe members are. OpTic might get into a situation where they make them pay for these overextensions because they are overextending in a lot of situations. But when you're bait and switching this well, it becomes really hard for OpTic to stay alive.
Love that Form was able to get that kill, and I love that they're able to rotate this ball, but shout out to Trippy for doing that much damage onto the players that come in for the cleanups. Love that, and I think we had an end game there because OpTic had the ball. I'm assuming there was an early end because I'm 90% sure OpTic had the ball. Don't gaslight me. I'm pretty sure OpTic had the ball because Trippy did a great amount of damage. Formal finished off one player with the BR, which was the big door, and the rest of FaZe were backing down, and OpTic were rotating that ball over toward the tower side. There is no way you're gonna tell me.
Yeah, we'll get you a ruling on that one. That was very interesting. We'll have to see what exactly happened there. But again, I think okay, so Formal says we need one. So I think they end. I'm to be honest, Tony, I'm lost. I'm gonna be 100% real with you. I need a map.
Well, whatever it is, Renegade agrees. Renegade said, okay. So whatever the heck is going on, Renegade agrees.
Listen, look, if Renegade's agreeing, we're good. All right, everyone understand. We are absolutely fine. If Renegade says we're good, I mean, he's the one to point out the details. So we're good, I guess.
Can we do me a favor, Louis? Click the Y button here. Okay, so World 2 did crash. He just joined the lobby again. Oh. So Formal said we need 100.
Oh, that's a lot of points. Okay, we need 100. Guys, they need 100. Everybody, here we go. Restarting. Try number 3. Live fire, Oddball. Here we go. This is a deciding game number 3. As we said, the series is tied 1-1. If you're just joining us, thank you for being here. And if you're enjoying this grand finals, let me tell you something. If you're enjoying this grand finals, support the stream, right? All these casters are here voluntarily, right? And you know, all of us get some support from you guys, from everything you guys do. We get a percentage of that as casters. So if you want to support the caster, if you want to support the crew, the production, check if you have a Twitch Prime sub. I'm not even asking you to use your money. If you have a Twitch Prime sub, let's make Jeff Bezos pay for this production, okay? Use your Twitch Prime in the chat. Make him pay, all right? He's too rich anyway.
Make sure you guys drop those subs in the chat. And by the way, guys, we're gonna wait for the admins to give us the official ruling here. We tried to do a little bit of investigating, but to be honest with you, it's a little crazy. But what we do know is FaZe were up at least 1-0 in rounds, right? I mean, at least that's what I've been able to figure out. But it's so crazy to me because OpTic got those slays. They had themselves almost in that full setup. They were rotating that ball over toward the seaside. Yeah. And something tells me that OpTic Gaming might have been able to run away with that tower side setup and be able to steal that round away. So just really unfortunate. Like I said, I'm waiting for the admins to kind of feed us information to find out exactly what the ruling is for this game number 3. But either way, it's been absolutely phenomenal. Game number 1, FaZe won 250 to 145. That game 2 was so close, only separated by 4 kills. And to be honest with you, the way it was played, it might as well have been a 50 to 49 game because it was so fundamentally sound and such a slower game, which is not something you expect on a map like Aquarius. So obviously loved that game number 2. And now this game number 3 is so important. This game number 3 is that swing game to give you that momentum in the best of 5 series. FaZe striving to win 2 best of 5 series in order to become your champions. Meanwhile, OpTic only having to win 1.
And we got to point out, right, guys, like, you know, at this high of a level of play, when a reset like that needs to happen, you have those, you know, you have these spawns that, you know, throughout a whole game, like I said with Oddball, right? You spawn on one side of the map, you win the round, you spawn on the other side of the map for the second round. Regardless, you know, everyone's got to make sure that we're spawning on the exact side of the map that we're supposed to, because each side kind of has a different advantage, right? And disadvantages. So again, just making sure that the competitive integrity is there. And we all appreciate your patience in the chat. You guys are wonderful. I don't have chat open, but I would assume that people did support. And if you did, thank you. We really appreciate that. LBT appreciates that. And you know, you guys are the lifeblood of this community. So thank you for what you do. Well, let's have an incredible series. like Tony had said, this is a big win here for FaZe because they've still got to win another best of 5 series. Series is tied 1-1. This is game number 3, live fire oddball. And I believe OpTic did say, or Formal did say, that OpTic need 100 points to win this one, which, I mean, that's the cap anyway, but we'll see what happens.
Game number 3, swing 1 at that. Sniper rifle, heat wave gonna be so important, but man, you gotta get your hands on the power up as well. You talked about each and every one of these individual sides being important. What side would you say you prefer as a player? You're a high Onyx player yourself. What side do you prefer when going into oddball live fire?
I definitely prefer C side, just due to the fact that you have the tower that's really able to see every single push that comes through, right? You're not blind to any side, and then you've got full control of C plat, which allows you to get that overshield when it comes up, which it is up right now. So these next couple kills are very important. And again, this is the problem, right? OpTic are going down very early. With that OS coming up, the timing of them dying here is not good. But unfortunately, Frosty did not act quick enough. The spawns are already out on A, and so this OS is going to be contested once again.
Want to apologize ahead of time, guys. Still waiting for the admins to sort everything out here to try to find out exactly what's going to be the official ruling here. Waiting for FaZe and also for us to get that information. So just hang tight on, and as of right now, just enjoy some great gameplay. Frosty getting away with that heat wave, sniper rifle, and overshield combination. Puts it to work immediately, putting Trippy down to 1 shot, but knowing this is not just a 1v1 battle, so backs down despite having those extra shields, and now gets right back to work, poking and prodding, damage down, staying alive, not giving off his location as easy and being such a tough kill. The rest of his team should be able to thrive as he takes down Formal right there, and that ball was rotated away, and FaZe have already put themselves 16 points ahead and in a playable position here.
Honestly, that was such a great way to play overshield, right? You don't want to just charge into the enemy team just because you have a little bit extra shields. It doesn't make you invulnerable. Frosty plays his life there. He's able to output so much damage, and now another overshield is on the docket. And it looks like World 2 is in position to try and get this, but he's got to get 2 through 3 players, 1 on each side of him. And he stays alive beautifully, but the nades come through, and he's going to end up going down.
Another overshield coming up, and OpTic Gaming have the real estate. They're grinding forward towards it. I believe Trippy was able to get away with it. Frosty and Snakebite do have that B-side control, so valuable ball type coming in for FaZe. But if OpTic played that overshield right, they should be able to get themselves some good ball type after the reset comes in. Snakebite plays the ball off. Lucid gets played off himself, courtesy of the repulse. The heat wave going to be awarded the kill. APG goes down. Somehow FaZe are able to get so much ball time, play the ball, and still get ready for that reset and cutting off the C side. FaZe are playing this well right now. 4 up, 2 down for OpTic. This is really bad for the green wall.
All right, here we go. World 2 with the commando in hand. The amount of damage he's able to output, like I talked about, right? He's got that long-range shot that is just so beautiful. And when you got a long-range shot and a commando, your damage output is just absolutely incredible. 72 seconds and counting for FaZe. They end up playing the ball off the board, and it's going to be up to World 2 to get this trade onto APG, but some beautiful help there by Lucid.
So coming from one of the admins here, it looks like this is just 1 round. If FaZe win this, they win. If OpTic win this, they win. Simple as that. First to 100. And as of right now, FaZe just 27 seconds away from coming out with the win. So 1 round to take them off from either side. OpTic finally getting into an A-side setup here. But can they get the kills they so desperately need? Formal ends up going down. Trippy sitting up high with the tower side. Love this rotation from the ball. Eventually that ball gets played off the map. Now OpTic have to be ready, because FaZe, if they want to, they can play for a quick ball. Get ready. Overshield, ball, and everything coming up. FaZe heavily in an advantage here on live fire.
Yeah, definitely an advantage is what I would say. Of course, with this OS coming up, and like you said, and the power up into the hands of Snakebite and top tower control, this is huge for them. They've got to get maybe 1 more slay, and they can comfortably go for this ball. The spawns are gonna come out onto B, so that's a double kill for Renegade, starting to heat up. That's what we like to see out of him. His numbers have, you know, been fairly impressive here, but there it is. FaZe are gonna win that game, and that will be 2-1 in favor of FaZe in this series. Incredible job once again They win this next one. We're going to go to a grand finals reset. We are in the grand finals for those of you guys that just joined us. FaZe performing beautifully so far in this series. Can they continue on?
That had to be the longest game of Oddball live fire in the history of Halo Infinite. I'm pretty sure we all can agree that Oddball already takes long enough, but that might have been a whole tournament by itself. That was a whole series by itself, but finally we have a winner. It's FaZe that come out on top. Now I don't want to see live fire ever again, at least not for the rest of the night. We're going into Recharge, King of the Hill. A whole different set of skills, whole different ball game we're talking about. Obviously, shock rifle, active camouflage. The pro players have elected to GA the Mangler, to GA the sword as well. So we're not going to see those come into play, but there's plenty of other equipment like the repulsor and the grapple as well. Recharge, I know that's one of your favorite maps. I know you love sitting over toward the tower side or the glass side and just rain down shots and hold angles. Who do you think you are, World 2?
I mean, there's a reason the man picked up mouse and keyboard, and after 5 days, he was 1,000 times better than me when I got over 3,000 hours on MK Halo. So, yeah, I mean, the kid's good, all right? He knows his stuff. We'll see if he's able to put in that damage across the map here. One of the big things is this hill number 1. Of course, you have the camo to contest for, but once you get those slays, going for that C plat control is going to be the most important, right, Tony? And then after that, you rotate over towards long. And these hills are hard to break, the long hill, and you even mentioned that A hill as well, being very difficult to break for these squads. So initial control of those hills will be huge.
Yeah, not every hill was created equal. Like that middle hill, that's where teams like that are scrappy are gonna really have the advantage. It's all about scrapping time and just getting out, and it's so hard to lock down the entire map. Where, like you said, over in the long haul side, over to A side, you're so isolated that once you get that setup coming in, it's so hard to get that first initial kill or that second kill in order for you to get your setup broken. So that long haul on that A side, that's where games are truly won. And I would even say, even when it moves over toward the blue pipes, because controlling C, even though it might be a tad bit harder than controlling the A or the long haul side, if you play it just right, which obviously both of these teams are going to do so, that can be a tough one as well. So really excited to see Recharge King of the Hill. One of my favorite sneaky strats. Yeah, I'm gonna help you out at home real quick. So when that hill is over towards the whirlpool side, you grab the disruptor and you go control. It's a weird place to be to hold down when that hill's over toward the whirlpool, but you have a direct angle to the stronghold, to the King of the Hill pad. Yeah. And as the enemy team's in there, you just shoot the pad. And you just start doing that. There's no shot that the enemy team can ever get it. And the amount of damage that you do allows the rest of your team to push up and eventually take over the A spawns. And it's absolutely crazy. It's the most toxic strategy. And then even better, if you have a second player, grab the second disruptor, then go towards the glass side, it's over. And that's it. It's absolutely hilarious.
I hate players like you. That's why I'm always getting dot damage in that hill. Goodness me. Here we go, though. It's game number 4. OpTic Gaming down 1-2 against FaZe. FaZe had the lead here. And they also have a little bit of an advantage on that A side, but Lucid gonna take care of that with camo and shock. This is a dangerous combo to be in the hands of this man.
And like you mentioned before, FaZe still having the opportunity to reset the bracket. With them coming out of the losers bracket, they can't win the tournament in this best-of-5 series. All they can do is win this series and have to do it once again. Back-to-back series was necessary. Meanwhile, OpTic Gaming pulled off a little mini reverse sweep, put 2 games in a row. That's it. They're your champions today, and we're moving on to tomorrow here. So really excited to see what happens here. OpTic Gaming, we have so much progression on this middle hill. The scrappy time in favor of them. Have all 4 players up. Frosty the first one to go down. Renegade gonna follow him as well. And Lucid already working on getting these slays while his teammates are coming off a spawn and getting into a more favorable position.
Yeah, I mean, this is a bit scary here when Lucid going on a killing spree this early. Hasn't died yet. This is the player that we've been looking to see all series long, and he's finally waking up here in this beautiful game number 4. He does not want to go to a reset. He wants to end it in this series alone. But unfortunately, 2 go down for OpTic Gaming, so this is FaZe Clan's chance to get some points on the board.
Renegade finds himself within the hill, but off the screen, Lucid Gets himself a critical kill onto World 2. Renegade showing us all how to put that shock rifle to work. Trying to bounce back some grenades or any early damage. Finally, Renegade goes down. Formal deals with the second. That's going to be a double kill for him. World 2 coming out with the quickness. And after all that happens, FaZe find himself 3 down. APG continues to try to push forward because they know they want to get ready for the seaside for the long haul hill. So I'm not mad at that play. They might have been able to win it if he stayed in the hill, but they still didn't have the favorable spawns or the favorable positioning going into the next hill, right?
Right. I mean, what's interesting is Frosty did get off a glass and he dies for that, but FaZe do have control and Renegade took that glass spot. So full control for FaZe. It's going to be tough to break, but those initial 2 kills is all OpTic Gaming need, and all Trippy needs is a shock rifle and some BR shots and a little bit of help from his friends, and that's going to be 2 dead for FaZe. Make that 3. OpTic have solidified control of the long haul. This might be hill number 2 for them.
OpTic have always been a strong king of the hill team, and they're showing it right here, right now, as they've already taken that bottom mid first hill. Lots of progression onto the second one. FaZe end up breaking the setup, which could be huge for them. APG trying to catch an angle here as Frosty's still doing work onto the A side. He's gonna go down. Hopefully gets a favorable spawn as FaZe have taken control of the long haul. OpTic beginning to surround them here.
Yeah, generally you see people break this hill on the A side, going towards through pipes all the way over to Attic and Gold, but in this case, OpTic decided to push on the C side, but for that, they go 3 down. FaZe have control once again, and it's up to Trippy to put damage in here, but stay alive at the same time. It's a difficult task.
Multiple members of FaZe find himself within the zone. Frosty trying to put work in with the shock rifle, but now both players are one shot forced to back down. Eventually, one goes down, the other one able to stay alive. That's Renegade, and World 2 comes right back in with the bait and switch. Deals with APG, gets himself a triple kill. Now gonna try to deal with Lucid, almost gets himself an overkill. Does the damage enough for his teammates to finish off that kill. And just like that, FaZe have now stolen that hill number 2. We are tied up. OpTic already set up.
That was almost so disgusting. I would have squealed like a girl. Absolutely insane. Renegade now with a shock rifle. The shock rifle is the name of the game on this map. It's so incredibly strong with so much ammo on it. There's so much damage you can do if you're just half decent with the gun. We'll see what Renegade's able to do here as FaZe tied up 1-1 and full control of this Whirlpool side and of A. They're going to converge on a Renegade now. He's got to be careful.
If there's so much you can do when you're half decent with the gun, what can Lucid and Renegade do with the gun? They're absolutely amazing with the gun. APG and OpTic Gaming find themselves over toward the zone, but look, multiple angles coming in from FaZe. There's someone coming over from the Mangler side, somebody coming on the top A side, even in Whirlpool. With that many angles, all it takes is a collapse in timing, and just like that, FaZe break the setup that OpTic Gaming had. Now FaZe gonna try to move into their own setup, make it as hard as possible for OpTic to catch an angle.
Lucid again winning an incredibly huge 1v1 that he shouldn't have won. Because of that, he stays alive, but Renegade able to get revenge there. All the while, FaZe gonna close out this second hill. So you see Formal starting to move over to this blue pipe side, but Snakebite already in position to get control of this side of the map.
This is crazy because I feel like OpTic are the ones who should be up 2-1. If not 3, like, I feel like that long haul hill should have been theirs. FaZe absolutely committed a robbery, stealing away that second hill. And despite the fact that OpTic had that early setup, FaZe still break it and control the A side of the map as well. They must be feeling good going into this 4th hill. Frosty raining down grenades, able to deal with Formal quickly. Right back in the action, right out of it. Crosses paths with Lucid. Now gonna go in for the challenge, almost able to deal with him despite the fact that Frosty was one shot, and now the camouflage is coming up. Can Lucid get his hands on it? That could be critical for OpTic to come back.
He's at least gonna burn it, which is huge, but he gets a sticky onto Snakebite's head. So a great trade, 3 down for FaZe. It's World 2's job to put as much damage as he needs to. He was gonna die in that situation anyway, right? So getting that trade is all that he needed to do. And his job is done now. On board with Formal and his spot here on the top bat ledge.
Shock rifle in the hands of Formal. He and APG both find themselves over toward the gold side of the map. Meanwhile, multiple members of FaZe are pushing through the Charlie side. Formal tries to line up the shot onto World 2, but World 2 is dealing with multiple players here. Formal with the shock rifle, APG with the Plaza pistol. Formal now gonna push up and try to get the early break here off a screen. APG finally able to deal with World 2 and back-to-back kills go towards OpTic Gaming. Formal able to deal with the third player, so now OpTic able to get into their setup with just one player to deal with. Hopefully Frosty goes down, but now without a fight, he takes down Trippy. They're checking every corner. They're like, where did he go?
There he is. He comes on out. Formal's gonna hit that shot. He's gonna hit that double as well. Is World 2 gonna peek his head? Yes, but he plays his life beautifully. Not beautiful enough though. Formal with 3 kills, 3 dead for FaZe. Snakebite, last player alive. And a hill for OpTic Gaming as well. We're tied at 2-2.
From on screen here, trying to deal with the one-shot Frosty, once again being a nuisance, but he's not gonna get away this time. Finally, Formal will end up going down here. Great stick by Trippy to trade out with Snakebite. Love that play by him. Ooh. Somehow nobody accounts for Formal though. Those A-side spawns going to be so important with this hill. And as of right now, OpTic look like they're fighting for it. They're forcing FaZe back into the gold side of the map. This might be exactly what OpTic are looking for. They have their setup locked in. 1 or 2 slays, and they should be able to get some good time here. But as I say that, Lucid will be the first one to go down.
You know what, World 2, I've noticed in the past couple plays, World 2's been that player to kind of push aggressively and make sure that there's no flank player pushing through. Lucid had a great position there, was going to be able to push through and put damage into anyone crossing. World 2 gets the kill onto him, and now 4 dead for OpTic Gaming. And now FaZe have a chance to potentially push through, get those A spawns, and get this hill time.
OpTic were able to break FaZe's setup and get into the setup of their own. Things were looking good, but you have to be able to execute from that setup, and sadly, we didn't see it from OpTic Gaming. FaZe take advantage. Now they have a shock rifle and a camouflage in the hands of Frosty. The ultimate combo here on Recharge. This might be the most dangerous one in Halo Infinite as OpTic find himself 3 down. Trippy's the 4th one to fall. Everybody getting wiped. And now FaZe are going to take the lead here on this oh so important 5th hill.
Yeah, Frosty's doing a really good job of keeping this A control. You're able to keep this A control. This spawn is so heavily weighted on this map and game type. So consistently just spawning his teammates behind him on elevator. And that's allowing FaZe to continue to put the pressure in. But you can see OpTic's going for a break here on top of glass and pipes. Frosty's in trouble, and he ends up going down.
But 3 down once again for OpTic. Lucid now being forced to have to make a play by himself. He doesn't end up getting the double kill. Does enough damage to almost get the triple kill, but Snakebite not going to have any part of that. And just like that, FaZe take their 3rd hill, 1 hill away from resetting the bracket here in your grand finals. OpTic, I don't think they want to see another bracket. OpTic, you got to send us into a game 5 right here, right now, with camouflage and the hill over toward the bottom mid. This is OpTic's opportunity.
FaZe are just winning a lot more of their individual gunfights, and they're bait and switching a lot better as well from what I've seen thus far. This bottom middle hill could potentially play the time here. There's 1 minute and 25 seconds left. You keep OpTic out of it, you slay them out, play the time, don't allow them to get any time on the board, and just for 1.5 minutes do what you've done all game long. It's like 2 dead for OpTic, but they're still gonna get some time on the board, and Formal's gonna hit a beautiful shot there to get that kill and even up the numbers.
And Lucid gonna do the same against Frosty there, so OpTic Gaming, like we said, they don't want to give up, not without a fight here. APG already moving over toward the tower side. Lucid taking a bit of team damage there. He's gonna relocate. Frosty a bit by himself over toward the A side, and Lucid wants to deal with it. He said there's no way he can allow Frosty to just be a nuisance onto the A side, so he repulses right up, gets him off of the side of the map. It looks like OpTic want to spawn them over towards that gold corner, but does Lucid know there's a killing spree? Does Lucid know that there's multiple players onto the long side? It looks like he does know. OpTic are good. Don't worry, I'm sorry. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, just a little bit.
Yeah, I think he knows. But regardless, a minute left even. But OpTic are so close to getting this hill. These slays have got to be pretty much perfect. Snakebite's got the position on top glass. Lucid gonna try and stay alive here, but he goes down, so that's 2 down for OpTic Gaming. There's no way they push the hill right now, so this will dwindle down to about 30 seconds. And So FaZe just need for 30 seconds to slay OpTic out, and we will go to a grand finals reset.
Down to one shot. Frosty goes, eventually taken down. Renegade looks like he's trying to chase Lucid right into a grenade that's going to put him down to one shot. So Renegade forced to take height here. FaZe the first ones to spawn up. OpTic the first ones to go 3 down. Just 24 seconds on the clock for OpTic to try to steal away this last sliver of time and send us into that long haul side. FaZe are surrounding and baiting the hill. Trippy gets out for just a second, goes in for a big contact control side, but OpTic end up 3 down. Lucid gonna try to make a god play here to try to slide in and get that final progression, but it might not happen. OpTic are now staggering. They're sending multiple over toward the hill that's now being baited out by FaZe, and eventually the shot clock is going to get him. Time expired. Another best of 5 series. FaZe take the first.
What an incredible job there by FaZe. You had a guy on glass, which is Snakebite. You had World 2 on the bat ledge, just cross-firing everyone who tried to get any time on the board. And like you mentioned, very intelligently, they were staggering the spawns constantly. OpTic got a little desperate there at the end. Unfortunately, it was not enough. Lucid didn't have a play to make, so he just tried to do everything he could. And that means that we are going to a grand finals reset here. FaZe win the first series 3-1. A little bit of deja vu from the SSG Snowdown. Will FaZe take this one once again?
Look at the tiny bit of progression that OpTic need. Look at the bottom of your screen.
Right.
Like we're talking about just like what 2 or 3 seconds right there if they're able to slide in. It's crazy to me. You see Trippy going for the trade here, but that puts him 2 down. Another player goes down. Lucid the final player alive. So at this point, he knows with 10 seconds, his teammates are off for spawn with 8 seconds of respawn. He has to go for some kind of crazy god play. If that stick would have connected, you said you would have scored like a little pig. I would have too. I would right there with you. The 2 or the 3 little piggies that ran all the way home. It would have been absolutely ridiculous, but like OpTic weren't able to stay alive to put themselves in a better position to not have to go for that crazy play. If they stay alive, get the slays they need, maybe it's a different story, but FaZe were simply using that middle hill as bait, and they did it to perfection, and that's the reason why they take your first best of 5 series. We move on to another one. This right here is your grand finals. There's no more chances. It's do or die. We're crowning a champion after 3 games here.
And you said it right, Tony. These teams both have no chances left. They've got to play their absolute best. You're going to see the best Halo possible online that you could ever see. Formal does have that camo, goes down, but OpTic does have the first camo. We saw a little bit of this trend in the last series. Got to make sure, FaZe has got to make sure they get those camos early so that they can potentially get control of the map. And the 1v1s are huge. And Lucid, that's the first 1v1 I've seen him miss.
Last time we were on Aquarius, I believe it was actually OpTic that came out with the win, but that was Slayer. Capture the flag playing 10 times different, and we're going to find out if OpTic can replicate that here on the same map, or FaZe, who are a dominant capture the flag team, come out on top here. Snakebite goes in for the challenge onto Trippy. Well played on that pivotal fight. Cross-match shots try to connect to APG. 3 down for OpTic Gaming, and the first flag has been pulled. Can it be pushed forward towards the mid-map?
Yeah, they're going to get spawns onto P1 and Fridge here. So World 2's job is just to prevent the push, which will solidify the cap. Trippy goes down early before Formal gets a trade. Snakebite's going to go down to the heat wave. And again, we talk about the importance. Lucid, this is one of his strengths, I would say. A lot of people, you know, he's obviously one of the best players in the game. One of his strengths is controlling this sandbox with perfect timing, right? You know, once that heat wave drops, it's 15 seconds and you get kills like that. Beautiful job.
I'm really upset by that. The fact that Lucid was able to jump over that door frame and get behind Frosty, whoever died the first time over to utility side, you gotta watch your dead screen. You gotta be communicating that Lucid's jumping over the head like that. I believe it was Frosty that walks in, he has no idea. Lucid makes a god play with that heat wave, but if the communication was a little bit better in that one instance, I don't know if that happens, or at least does a little bit of damage, so the trade-off comes in. Now Lucid gets away with the camouflage, largely because of that one play, and if they play it just right, this should convert to a flag cap, or they go 3 down and whatever.
Yeah, whatever, man. Yeah, I mean, that's 2 camos now in a row. that unfortunately OpTic have kind of, you know, let go of. And like you said, you can really either take control of a map, you can go for some incredible plays and pushes to potentially get a flag cap, but not able to happen. And because of that, Snakebite, the man, the myth, the legend, rolling his way through utility side. Frosty's got to get this kill, and he does. That opens up everything, but they've got to potentially deal with APG, who's pushing in very aggressively here. He gets the kill on the Snakebite. He's got to stay alive here, though. He's going to get pinched.
Whoa, he's gonna get pinched, but the cavalry has come in for OpTic Gaming. APG making a play not only to stop the flag, gets himself the double kill, and the rest of OpTic are able to clear out FaZe right there. So this flag might end up being pulled as APG continues to be a nuisance in the FaZe base. Now that flag being thrown as far as possible over toward the P side. FaZe find himself 2 down. They desperately need a kill, and that kill won't come. Instead, Lucid continues to push the flag forward.
I don't mind the play of getting flag and bringing it bottom center by Lucid. That's a good play. Potentially, they have to get a couple more slays. Formal does get 1, and APG is in a position. The trade comes through, and again, that flag being bottom center really pressures FaZe to kind of play out of position. And because of that, they're going to potentially get this flag cap, but then you have the shot grenades on a roll, too, that shut everything down.
Great answer back coming in from FaZe. You find yourself multiple down. OpTic Gaming play it well to start the push, but they're able to overcome it. And now you have a counter cap opportunities. OpTic are just coming up 4 down. Camouflage is coming up very quickly, but now the same way that you had a counter cap opportunity and you use the forces against OpTic, OpTic do the same thing against you. Come off a spawn, make their presence known, puts you 4 down this time, and now a camouflage and heat wave in favor of Trippy. 1 more round of slays, and I promise this flag is going to be capped. It's actually already moving.
Yeah, we've seen 3 camos in the hands of OpTic thus far. This one tends to do a lot more damage than the previous 2. They get 4 down for FaZe, and the first cap on the board for OpTic. FaZe have to go for a reset here, but they've got to take out Trippy, who's on a clinic right now. 5 kills without dying, 11 and 8 in this game.
He may not have the camouflage, but he still has the heat wave, and the man's bringing the heat. Finally goes down, but 6 kills in a row coming out of Trippy. APG comes up to clean up, like the little gender style, you know, clean up all those one-shot kills, stay alive. I love the way APG is playing right now. He's being such a tough kill, and he's getting in there doing so much damage on the enemy team. Off the screen, Trippy gets himself a kill on the Snakebite. Frosty goes in for the pivotal battle. A reversal coming out of APG. That's 2 down for FaZe. 1 more slay, and that flag is being pulled, I promise you.
Yeah, the question to me is, how is FaZe going to play out of their base here? 2 are down. They have to rotate towards Fridge to stay alive and potentially take a little bit of presence on the map, but unfortunately, it's not going to be enough. This flag is bottom center, so those util spawns are huge, as well as Renegade staying alive on P side. The damage is done, but it's not enough. Maybe it is enough. 3 down for OpTic.
A hard-fought battle here by both of these squads. Even the 1 cap that OpTic had, you know, it was back and forward. You know, they had the flag pull, FaZe put them 4 down, get a counter pull. Then OpTic had to put them 4 down, and only through that camouflage and heat wave combination were OpTic Gaming able to even get that flag cap of their own. It's a battle right now here on Aquarius for game number 1. Both of these teams fighting for that first win. OpTic Gaming do end up going 3 down here. Snakebite dropping that flag off, trying to do that last bit of damage onto APG. Not mad at that play whatsoever, but OpTic have come off a spawn and Roar 2. This time it's FaZe who were able to get away with the active camo.
For those of you guys just joining us, we are in a grand finals reset. These teams have played already at the grand finals. FaZe winning the first grand finals 3-1. And this is, of course, game number 1 of the reset here. So whoever wins this best of 5 right now will go home a champion in the Open Championship qualifier for Charlotte World 2. Some massive damage being output, and with 1 dead on the enemy side, this could be huge, but unfortunately Renegade goes down early.
The sad part is, even if you win today, you got to come up and do it again tomorrow. You know, we coming right back in here, so you never get a chance to enjoy the win. It's right back to work, clock in, clock out type stuff that we looking at here. Frosty able to deal with Formal. Gets that early damage on the APG, goes and challenges. Lucid, love the shots coming in. Call them cheddar cheese. Them shots are looking sharp out of Frosty.
I love that. Cheddar cheese, and I'm hungry. Renegade with the flag. This is gonna tie up the game potentially. There's a player on top car, that's Lucid, that can potentially stop it, but Renegade too quick, and now we have a tie game 1-1 in your game number 1 of the grand finals reset.
It's been, and again, I talk about it before. It's so tough to get any flag cap. Both of these teams are playing so well, making such little mistakes. It's so crazy to me that usually, you know, in my matchmaking games, you put enemy team 3 down, you're capping the flag. But they're playing to perfection off a spawn, overextending, and you need multiple round of slays in order just to capture one flag. It must be exhausting. Here in your bracket reset of your grand finals, APG finally goes down, was dodging dynamo grenades, frags, the kitchen sink, everything being thrown at him. FaZe gonna win these next few battles. Now gonna try to steal away the active camouflage. World 2 down to 1 shot and is able to sneak that corner. This is gonna be huge. 2 camouflages in a row here for FaZe. The last time they grabbed one, they capped the flag. Can they do it again?
That's a really good point, Tony. OpTic had the first 3 camos, and now, like you said, 2 in a row. And a flag comes out. One thing I'm noticing out of FaZe is their flag pulls are efficient, right? If they're pulling flag, generally they're trying to, generally they put them in. They don't have as many flag pulls. I believe OpTic has more flag pulls than FaZe, but FaZe have been able to efficiently have that objective efficiency, I should say. This flag is going to go bottom P side, but no one really in a position at the moment. As 2 go down for FaZe, this is probably going to be a dead flag. Now we just got to stay alive and prepare for this counter push.
Yeah, it's definitely not about quantity, it's all about quality. Like, as long as those flag caps are going in, that's what you're looking for. You can pull the flag out 34 times and never cap a flag here. Meanwhile, OpTic pulled that flag out. They already make it toward the 50% portion here. APG trying to stay alive. Formal gets himself a big kill. That allows APG to push that flag over towards the base. I don't think anybody's in position just like that. OpTic Gaming go up 2-1, 2 minutes and 33 seconds on the clock here. FaZe are now the ones on the clock.
Yeah, great job by OpTic as well to minimize the damage in that situation, right? Prevent a counter cap from happening. They get a kill onto Snakebite. APG is going to go down, but Trippy stays alive as well. 3 down for FaZe. Renegade, the last player alive, and another flag pull for OpTic. Up 2-1 so far in this game. Can they get a third?
Love the play by Renegade. Simply hiding in the corner and getting the kill on the flag player should buy his teammates enough time to get involved and get engaged with the fight. The last thing they want to do is fall 1-3 does FaZe, but it looks like that might be exactly what happens. And now my question for you, Tim, is what has happened in this game? It was neck and neck all game long up until the last 3 minutes where OpTic Gaming seemingly flipped the switch.
I think, honestly, OpTic Gaming's done a really good job of controlling the spawns and forcing the spawns at the same time, right? If you kill all 3 players around the same time, like they keep doing, you're gonna know exactly that FaZe is gonna spawn, for instance, in that util side, and you can just pressure that, take control of the map. OpTic has just been playing a little bit more disciplined than they were in that very first series. But here we go. FaZe has a flag pull of their own. They're trying to get 2 on the board because with a minute left, this is gonna be very difficult to get this third.
But with that second flag cap about to be punched in, it is still doable here for FaZe. You notice that OpTic Gaming still find itself 3 down. The last, every time FaZe have captured a flag, normally OpTic are able to capitalize off it, able to get the kills and get a counter pull. Not this time. OpTic Gaming go 3 down once again. The flag is already passing forward here. Nobody OpTic is in position to stop this flag. APG's doing damage, gets himself the kill, but World 2 has that flag over towards the back face. Shots are coming out of nowhere. What a flank by Snakebite. High IQ play. And just like that, we are tied up at 3 apiece. And hold on. OpTic are 3 down once again.
We have to talk about the speed of the run on World 2, okay? I know I talk about mouse and keyboard a lot. I'm gonna do it, so get over it. But World 2's speed on his flag run is incredible. That of a keyboard and mouse player. It was just great to see how fast he was able to get to P1 around the corner. That provided provided him the cover he needed and provided that third cap on the board, which is gonna be huge. We will be going to an overtime here with 3 seconds left. There is no one in position. A great job by FaZe to recover right there. That was huge. 2 caps within a matter of 30 seconds. Incredible.
Yeah, and you know what? And I want to give a little bit of flowers to OpTic, because before FaZe had the 2 caps, OpTic had back-to-back caps themselves. FaZe had to answer back with almost perfect Halo right there because OpTic put them in that position to begin with. So well played by both of these squads. A well-deserved overtime here for game number 1. Guys, I hope you're comfortable because we're in for the long haul. I'm telling you, we're going to game number 5. It's going to be an overtime. This is going to be a long series here in your grand finals.
Love the passion of these two teams. And again, you talked about it earlier, Tony. Love that we have a third contender on the board now, you know, a consistent contender. We know that's essentially the live events are going to turn pretty much out like this with these 3 big teams at the top. And that makes things really interesting, right? I think season 2 is going to be so good, even better than season 1, which is crazy to say because season 1 was already incredible. But look, Formal turns the flag, trying to get, that was a really close flag, but they're going to get the counter cap here. World 2, it's his job to stay alive and potentially get important kills at this point in time. This is a huge 1v1, and he gets the perfect. That's what we need to see out of World 2. Can he get the cleanup on the flag carrier?
But the problem is, despite the fact that World 2 were able to get the active camouflage, somehow OpTic were able to get that first pull. Luckily, like you said, the pivotal kill should lead to the rest of FaZe now getting involved and even getting the flag outside of the base. So well played by him. Rest of FaZe are coming in. That dynamo grenade not only doing damage, but tethering that player, keeping them forward. A double kill now being earned by World 2 here as he starts to work onto Trippy, the final player alive for OpTic. FaZe have now controlled the car side. They're about to get into their opponent's utility. Oh, one more round of slays and FaZe could end this game number 1.
Killing spree.
The damage output is insane. 2 go down for FaZe though. It's a 2v2 situation and Lucid is going to get the third. So that's kind of huge here.
Double kill.
But again, it's those trades that count. Renegade gets his own trade. Now trying to get a pull onto this flag, and he gets just that. That touch is going to be huge, especially with 3 down from OpTic. This could be it for game number 1 of the Grand Finals reset. FaZe looking incredibly strong, and with 2 players from OpTic down, this is all but going in. Everyone cowering around. There it is. Game number 1 going to FaZe in an incredible fashion with a comeback, 2 caps in under 30 seconds. Beautiful job.
It took a full team effort right there, and that's exactly what you saw Renegade with the unselfish play to get that flag pull before going down. He relays the flag forward over towards Frosty, gets it all the way over towards the base, and he's one shot, but he has Snakebite right behind us. So what do you do? Just passes that flag forward to Snakebite. Go on in. You finish off this cap of full team. Here it is right here. Renegade, one shot, goes in for the touch. Oh, he missed it for a second. Somebody check those paddles on him. I don't even play with paddles. He don't play paddles or claw. It's crazy. Frosty goes in, moves that flag forward. Look at it. Snakebite coming in onto utility side. He knows that he's weak. There's no reason to give up his life here, so he just leaves it up there and said, don't worry, I have forward momentum. I'm going to slide this flag in. It's like watching just perfect basketball being played. It's just perfect ball movement, or in this case, flag movement. Great game. Great game and great final cap in overtime.
A cool stat, too, is FaZe went 8-0 in CTF in the SSG Snowdown, the last tournament, major tournament that they played at the very beginning of Season 2. Tony, you and I had the blessing of being able to host that, an incredible tournament, and they continue on that CTF trend here now, 9-0 in Season 2. I would call that, right, Tony? I mean, these all these tournaments count together. But here we go. I know this is maybe not a favorite map of a lot of people, but it is one of my favorites because it brings me back to my golden years, my golden days. Empyrean. It's going to be an incredible game number 2, Empyrean Slayer. Tony, what do you think about this map so far? I mean, with the time that you got on it, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts, I don't know, we talk about golden years, all right, man. You're 40 years old, you got like 9 kids right now.
Oh, come on, bro.
Hey, look, we ain't got no golden years no more. It's all downhill from here, you know what I mean?
Yeah, my back's hurt. I'm telling you, I hear you, brother. I hear you.
But I'm be honest, Empyrean, excuse me, not my favorite map, but the nostalgia kicks in. I love the look of it. The streets kind of nighttime kind of vibe. New Mombasa kind of similar to streets. And I love having 2 snipers on any map. I want to see a counter snipe, but Formal might not allow anybody to touch the sniper here from FaZe as OpTic are looking to get into their spawn trap. And as you talk about time and time again, it ain't dynamic. You staying on this side of the map.
That's right. And it becomes very difficult if you misplay like FaZe did right at the start of this game. Look at where they're stuck. They're stuck inside that shotgun side. They've got to wait for an opportunity to push up. They've got to get a slay first. There's that initial slay. They get the slay onto APG. It opens up the map. There it is. Renegade does go down, but you're going to see FaZe starting to push up. But Lucid, he has both power weapons here. They've got to be careful.
T-Square would be proud right now when you got Lucid with the rockets and sniper rifle combination. Looks like he actually traded off that rocket to Trippy, and Trippy immediately put the rockets to work. So unselfish play coming out of Lucid right there. Frosty gonna eat off of it, and so will the rest of OpTic, because it's an 8-3 lead. Probably the largest lead that we've seen so far in a Slayer match between these two titans. OpTic formal with the sniper rifle and tries to finish off with the heat wave. He's not going to be able to do so. APG now has to get himself in a little bit of an awkward position. Snakebite somehow is milking his life, and APG is going to turn to Hamburger. A little ground beef off of that one.
We have to talk about Snakebite right there. He won a crucial 1v1, went towards S1, won another crucial 1v1, stayed alive to the third player, got help. Like, that is finessing as a definition. If you were able to open up the dictionary and look up finessing, Snakebite's name would be in there. That was incredible.
Yeah, you'll see a running GIF or a GIF, whatever you call it, and it's just going to see that play in the dictionary. Well played by FaZe to get themselves back in the game here. We know how snowbally Empyrean Slayer can be. You know, it's so tough to fight out of that spawn trap, especially against a team as coordinated as OpTic Gaming, but looks like FaZe are able to do so. Now the game slows down just a bit. Both the rockets and the overshield coming up. Rockets so important, but that overshield can be the ultimate equalizer. 2 down, make it 3 for FaZe. Trippy steals the overshield away, and the rockets haven't been taken by FaZe. Dude, if OpTic get a hold of overshield and rockets, this can be really bad for FaZe, but Trippy gets ripped.
Yeah, Frosty stayed alive on that sword side. He was the last player alive. He was not accounted for. Because of that, he gets a crucial kill to even up the numbers and take them out of that spawn trap. But the rockets in the hands of Lucid, he's gonna miss one. That's very uncharacteristic of Lucid in this situation. He only has one more to work with, but he does have a repulsor and a heat wave in hand.
But that heat wave goes in for a very early repulse right there. And eventually the repulse on repulse battle, and FaZe are going to win that one, tied up at 15 apiece. World 2 finding an awkward angle onto 2 different players, then extending a bit to go after Trippy, the man that barely misses. Lucid right on top of the tower. Finally, Lucid able to deal with him, and now he can be comfortable on the top tower side with the sniper rifle in hands. This is exactly where Lucid wants to be.
Yeah, OpTic playing a little bit of defense here on their side of the map. It's up to Renegade to kind of get this opening pick with a snipe. You put all your faith into him. Once he gets that pick, the push forward happens. OpTic's on their back foot, though. They die here. If more than 2 or 3 go down, they're going to be spawn trapped in the same situation that FaZe was. The question is, will they be as disciplined as FaZe was when their spawn trap happens?
The advanced analytics say that when FaZe play this map, they really value speed. And that's when they come out with the wins. Meanwhile, OpTic value finesse. Thank you, Snow Stats, for that. And they're more of staying alive, putting in that damage. So I'm gonna be very curious on how they elect to play this out, and whose play style comes out on top here, as Renegade sitting up high on the banana with the sniper rifle, pinging left and right. He wants to push up, but he knows that he has to deal with Formal first, and that's exactly what he does. Body shot into the BR. Well played, but Lucid goes down here. That should open things up very much here for FaZe. Maybe they can get OpTic in the spawn trap of their own.
Yeah, they've got to be careful of those split spawns, though. Potentially, it's a courtyard spawn that happens on that 1 player APG. Looks like it might be a shotgun spawn. 2 down for each side, but FaZe have a sizable lead of 4 here. You might think 4 not very sizable, but on this map, it absolutely is. With 7 minutes remaining, let's see if FaZe can continue the momentum.
Lucid puts himself in a non-advantageous position to grab that green gun, but it seems like FaZe might have been baiting that out. So well played as Lucid goes down. The green gun not going to be put into effect. Renegade now continues to thrive with this overshield and still has a sniper rifle in hands. Body shots Formal, then starts to work onto Trippy. Both players of 1 shot, finished off the first one. Now going to switch back to targets to Lucid, as the rest of FaZe are now pushing over toward the sword side and pushing over towards the runway side. FaZe are overloading this side of the map and are approaching OpTic territory.
I just love how they were able to perform that. If APG had an incredible flank right there on the green box, but Renegade opts to stay alive, gets a nice nice curb slide into runway, and they just slay their way through the map to get control. Beautiful job, and a beautiful job again with the sniper rifle. I don't know who that was exactly, but regardless, we're hitting all the shots, and now 32-23 is the lead. And Renegade with a snipe still in hand, full of bullets to work with. This is scary with all of OpTic spawning in Shoddy. Oh!
Renegade opens up the map with a big snipe onto APG. World 2 is sitting up on top of the of OpTic's tower at the moment. He's gonna be so tough to deal with, so tough that OpTic are actually electing to just find an exit route, and they've now flipped the entire map. What once was OpTic's side is, I guess, no more, because OpTic have pushed over toward the long haul side and are now taking space onto FaZe. If they slay them out here, they can now spawn trap. I don't know how OpTic just found themselves an easy route over towards long haul, but if this works for them, it could be crazy. As I say that, 3 members go down for OpTic Gaming. So a great plan, but the execution just wasn't there, because now there's only 1 player waiting to be executed on the FaZe side of the map, and that's going to be Trippy hiding in the corner.
Yeah, and Snakebite in your kill feed at the bottom middle left ends up taking him out. So a great play by him to just kind of stay alive and play that slowly, knowing that Trippy was on his side. All of OpTic back where they belong on their side of the map. Snakebite once again playing slow here. We're on board with Lucid, who's got the sniper in hand. We've seen what he's capable of with this weapon. He gets one right off the bat here. Rockets coming up shortly. Another kill would be golden for OpTic.
Love the fact that Frosty and World 2 have 11 kills apiece, 22 of the team's 38 kills. But what game is Renegade playing that he's only died 3 times? Oh, wait, what?
Look at this spot.
What?
Dude,
this can't be legal.
Trippy got OS. He had the sniper rifle trained on the OS, but Trippy got it without stepping on it. But it doesn't matter. Oh my goodness, Lucid says, I don't care about your angles, and blames him. 2 down for FaZe. 13 and 9 out of Lucid. Incredible plays by him thus far. They cut the lead to 9.
I'm over here wondering, like, how Renegade only died 3 times. Meanwhile, he's playing freaking, HDL, hidden league gaming spots outside of the map. This man's about to leave Imperial to end up on Argyle if we don't be careful. 39-34 in favor of FaZe. OpTic have been able to claw their way right back in the game. APG man to the tower side. OpTic and Lucid with those nades able to deal with World 2, and now it's FaZe on the back foot. You see the pings coming in from Lucid saying, we gotta push that. We cannot allow them to sit there for free, and that's exactly what OpTic is doing now. Only a 2-kill game, making 1 OpTic within striking distance of stealing this game number 2 away.
With FaZe on a spawn trap, an 11-kill lead all but blended down to a tie, 41-41. FaZe continue to go down on stagger. I talked about staggered spawns before. When 2 are alive, they're going to be able to push that side, but Renegade makes it through the middle. APG watching out for him here, though, with the snipe. Down 2 kills thus far, but again, got to talk about that spawn trap is so very deadly on Empyrean Slayer.
And I love the patience out of OpTic to go and do the damage, and then when they know that they can't secure that spawn trap again, pull out. Get back to their side, force FaZe to play over towards them, and if they're able to get these kills once again, cool, they get right back into the spawn trap, but they don't try to extend for it. They don't try to force anything. And I think that's valuable, especially with only a 2-kill game and just 7 needed as the trade comes in. Trippy trading out his life with Frosty, and every single one of these trades are going to work advantage of OpTic, who have a 2-kill lead. Rockets are coming up. OpTic, can they use those rockets as bait, or will they allow FaZe to steal it away?
Yeah, FaZe look like they're in position for rockets at the moment, and Renegade does pick them up. World 2 goes down, 42-45. So FaZe traded the OS. I believe World 2 is going for that OS. I don't know if it's burnt or not, but rockets are in the hands of Renegade. So it's up to him to kind of make some sort of a play here. He's got to make it through the map. Every angle is being watched right now by OpTic.
Crazy that World 2 was able to get away with that overshield, and OpTic countered it immediately with the green gun. Immediately, the moment he got it, it was over. He got deleted immediately. That game with just another kill. So now a 3-kill game, just 5 needed here for OpTic Gaming. 2 sniper rifles That's gonna be so tough for FaZe to deal with. Formal not moving off of this tower. Lucid started to push up, but he has reinforcements and Trippy with him. OpTic Gaming are comfortable. They're saying they know that Formal has the sniper rifle, so does APG. They're gonna try to force FaZe to make a move, and FaZe are quickly starting to run out of time from 2 minutes and 30 seconds to now 56 seconds on the clock. FaZe, they have to take advantage. Renegade able to take down Trippy. OpTic find himself 2 down. Now the 2 snipers are gonna go down as well as Formal. APG, the only player left with a sniper, and he gets tagged up by Snakebite. OpTic might have allowed FaZe to push up and gain way too much real estate, and this might punish them. Somehow APG off a screen gets himself a kill, but they're just trading out. 33 seconds here. Time is winding down, and Snakebite is controlling this courtyard side, controlling this tower side. He has the game in hands with the sniper, lines it up, can't quite find the kill. Tim, this might just be it. Down to 1 shot, Snakebite goes down.
Yeah, 49 to 47. They only need 1 more kill. Frosty's gonna be the one to go down with the heat wave in hand. And there you have it. OpTic are gonna tie the series 1-1. They had to work extremely hard for that one. FaZe really put up a fight there at the end. Nothing to be sad about. We've got ourselves a series in hand. And Tony, look at this. The very end couple of plays here. Snakebite taking a huge role. Unfortunately, the snipes that he had ended up getting weren't able to be cleaned up. There was no positioning out of FaZe in that situation. They end up getting 2 right there, but they also trade another. And because Snakebite didn't hit those headshots, it is unfortunate they weren't able to get those cleanups, and OpTic Gaming come through with the beautiful victory.
What I'm wondering is that if we at one point we see Snakebite staring down the shoddy side or the old Mauler side of the map, and you have 3 players that are stuck there. Where are the nades? Where are the angles? Like think about it. If you're stuck in shoddy side, you have 2 ways out: either through the needles or through the plasmas, or back towards your first. Like you need to start raining down nades. You need to start holding out those angles. Like I wonder. I'm gonna have to rewatch it because I want to know how they were able to break out of that shoddy side. I know APG got a huge snipe, but still. A few well-placed grenades and cluster luck. You coming out with the win.
Right. A great job by FaZe, though, to break through because that wall was strong. They set up, watching all angles. Formal had the snipe. APG had a snipe as well. But here we go. Heading into game number 3, we've got live fire Strongholds, and immediately right off the bat, OpTic Gaming gonna go for 2 caps here. And in trade, Renegade's gonna grab the snipe.
Immediate 3 down, making 4 for OpTic Gaming. They give FaZe a sniper rifle. It doesn't matter who has it in hands. They're gonna hit shots.
Agreed.
Renegade, Frosty, World 2, Snakebite, some of the best snipers that we have in the game, and immediately FaZe are able to turn that into a trip cap. OpTic now gonna try to fight desperately over towards C, and even if they get it, that's not gonna be good enough to put points on the board.
Yeah, it'll stop the profuse bleeding, but that's about all it'll do. They're gonna need multiple kills here, but look at the bait and switch out of FaZe. It's plays like that that need to happen more often if FaZe want to win this game number 3. A very, very important game number 3 as we are in the grand finals reset. FaZe won the first grand finals 3-1. We are in a reset because FaZe was in the losers bracket, so they need to win another best of 5. And right now, tied 1-1. FaZe looking pretty good for this game number 3.
Yeah, I remember the last time we saw these 2 teams on live fire was Oddball, but it was kind of the same. It was the same story. What a grenade by Renegade, but it was the same story. It was a 44-0 run by FaZe. Even through the crashes and resets, it came out to be the same thing. They would go on these 44 or 50-0 runs on Oddball on this very map, and they're doing the same thing here on Strongholds. They feel very comfortable in the early game of live fire. And they're already putting OpTic behind the 8 ball. So we're gonna see if OpTic can now bounce back, maybe take this lead back. It starts with the overshield. Sniper rifle in the hands of APG. He's able to trade out his life, and the rest of OpTic scoop up that overshield. That might be exactly what they needed.
Yeah, unfortunately, this all stems from Renegade having a little bit of an overextension on that C-plat. Had to be traded out, or got traded out by OpTic. So that's a sniper in the hands of OpTic, and now Lucid with that exact same sniper in his hands, 3 bullets to work with and a double cap on the board. OpTic will continue to get points.
Sniper rifle in the hands of Lucid, and Frosty's already pushing onto the dummy side, and he has Snakebite with him. I think he tagged up Snakebite to put him one shot, so that's gonna slow down the push to FaZe. But then Renegade seemingly coming out of nowhere to finish off that kill. Love this flank by Trippy, but multiple players in front of him. Can he stay alive? Yes, he can. Renegade is dealt with. Trippy finds the exit route. Frosty is just a millisecond too late to get himself a kill, and OpTic gonna keep that dub cap. FaZe might have been able to take Charlie, but OpTic are putting points on the board, and it looks like they will indeed take the lead.
Timing, timing, timing. It's the name of the game. Sniper is up top. OpTic have their first lead of the match here. It's gonna be up. These first couple of kills, it looks like a trade once again comes through. I'm seeing that so often, Tony. Trade after trade. And it's a good thing in a sense because you're trading out your deaths. You keep the numbers pretty much the same. No one has an advantage at that point, but finally FaZe get a hold of B.
Trippy like a great magician, you know. He was able to escape the battle over toward the pillar side. Now he's about to make people disappear with the sniper rifle. 22 seconds until an overshield coming up here. Renegade trying to take space with the heat wave, does damage onto both of the players. The one will go down, but APG will stay alive, and finally Trippy goes down. The third one's gonna fall for OpTic Gaming as well. Formal just gets caught in between a rock and a hard place, and eventually FaZe take advantage. Now gonna move into the double cap. Looks like we have OpTic Gaming working onto Charlie, but Frosty's also working on them with the heat wave and the sniper rifle.
Yeah, you see how fast they are without OS too to rotate and try and get C as well. But the spawns are potentially coming on the B. There they are. They start to get that B cap. FaZe do want to trade C for B, but they're not going to have the timing to do so. So Frosty's got to stay alive here on top to make an impact. And he does just that with a beautiful snipe. Can he get a second one? The flick comes out and the double kill as well. He does the damage, but FaZe convert.
Don't challenge that man. He's going back for his MVP trophy. He wants it back. AVG working well with the Plaza pistol, able to trade out one, gets himself a reversal medal here, but it's World 2 and Renegade. Gotta control on the B side. World 2 down to one shot. He's not gonna be able to help out too much, so now Renegade might be isolated for just a bit. One slay, that should buy him enough time for the rest of the team to come in. That's exactly what happens. APG stole away Bravo, but it doesn't matter if you can't stay alive, because now FaZe are gonna just dive right back on it. This is a hard-fought battle, and so far FaZe are winning.
World 2 unfortunately took a nade, so he's not gonna be able to stay alive on the B. That's gonna be B for OpTic, so FaZe are gonna have to be really good here because they're down in numbers. They're pushing up top center really aggressively. That's kind of what you have to do. You got to get that rotation off. With World 2 spawning on that OS side, now they've got numbers back on this C side. They get Formal down, and this is the opening they need.
Double kill.
Big double kill by Frosty. Working on the one-shot player in APG. That's going to be a triple. And once you have the numbers like that, it's so easy for FaZe to just dive over toward the B side. They should be able to snatch that up. Lucid's gonna do everything he can to stay alive, even bouncing back that grenade with the repulsor. But how much can you do when you're by yourself? Halo Infinite's the ultimate team game, and Trippy might have gotten the ultimate team spawn. Just gifted the overshield on that one.
Yeah, this OS is big. He's got all of it remaining too, even while putting a lot of damage in. FaZe gonna opt to go for this A side, and look at that, the selflessness of Snakebite to drop the snipe down for his slayers. They're gonna have OS pushing them, and that's why he dropped the sniper for this reason right here. The double kill from World 2. That's a huge double that allows them to get A. They have B almost as well, so more time on the board here. 133 to 121 is the scoreline. OpTic trying to take B back.
Don't call him World 2, call him by his full name. Show respect, it's World 2 Snipes. As he saw him get a beautiful double kill. Trippy down to one shot, and now gonna do everything he can to try to stay alive over toward the green side. Formal gets himself a big nade onto World 2. That's gonna slow him down just a bit. The double cap still in favor of OpTic Gaming, as Trippy is already diving over toward the C side, but did he know he was getting into a 1v2? Lucid didn't have his help quite just yet. The timing just a bit off, and FaZe are gonna capitalize on that mistake in the push. Luckily, OpTic are going to push over towards Alpha, so still with double cap in favor of OpTic. Just a bit of a swap when it comes to the Strongholds. Can FaZe put their second on the board?
Gotta look at the top right of your screen, though. Frosty 21-8, having an incredible game thus far. And even with FaZe Clan outslaying OpTic, OpTic are still keeping up. They're in the lead, actually, with 146 to 144. So objective efficiency is the name of the game for this OpTic roster. We've seen it time and time again. At Orlando, we saw it at Worlds as well. Very disciplined team. It's definitely starting to shine.
Overshield coming up here. It looks like World 2 might have been able to get this first sights on him, but he doesn't get burnt. World 2 stays alive with the overshield. Immediately converts it to a double kill. Snakebite gets himself a perfect kill right there. So all of OpTic Gaming getting wiped off of the face of live fire here. Now OpTic forced to spawn over toward the A side. FaZe are going to allow it to happen. Now they're going to cut off those exit routes, and World 2, he whipped out the pink mist. OpTic don't fear it.
Yeah, they get one, which means OpTic smell blood in the water. You're going to see the full push on top center. Frosty's isolated on overshield, so he's going to go down as well. But an incredible trade here on a Renegade. Gets one, can't get another, though, so that means OpTic are going to have control of A and C as long as they can get one or two more slays here.
3 down, go FaZe. OpTic need to take advantage of it, and that's exactly what they're going to do. The Mind the Gap medal being earned by Trippy, sending Frosty off of the map. APG trying to do the same, and or he going to just hang out down there. That's fine. That's a tactical death there. You know, he wants to spawn up faster. I'm not mad at that APG. It's a great move. Great move.
It's going to be tough here for FaZe to break through as Formal has a snipe on the big door, but look at the pressure from both sides. Snakebite's trying to get this A side. He's going to potentially go down here, but the trade comes through with the help of Frosty. Beautiful job. They get A and B. And now some more time on the board, approaching 200 seconds.
200 to 166, still in favor of FaZe at the moment here. And forget heating up. Frosty's been on fire. And as of right now, he is melting down the defenses of OpTic Gaming. 7 seconds until overshield is coming up. Frosty gonna focus on every lane here with the sniper rifle. Trusting the rest of his team to be able to push for it. This sandbag side gonna be so important. He could watch Bravo, watch overshield, come back and watch the A side. The problem is he has to stay alive, and that's not gonna happen. So who's gonna get this overshield? OpTic go 3 down. FaZe should be in position. Formal wins an individual piv, but it's not gonna be enough to stop Renegade from stealing the overshield, and that is not good for OpTic Gaming. A little over 10 seconds is what's needed for FaZe to close out this game and take the lead here in your grand finals.
Some great patience out of OpTic on that last play with the flank coming in from A, but unfortunately, all that patience gave FaZe with some more time on the board, and like you said, 14 seconds is all that's needed. A lot of OpTic are on A side, so you're going to see the rotation from FaZe onto B, and then more rotations and counter rotations onto C. So World 2 is in an important position here. He's got to stay alive, and he's got to do his best to do as much damage as possible.
Time has been stopped as OpTic have found their way over toward the Charlie side of the map. APG gets himself a kill. Looking for the second. That's going to be a double kill by APG. FaZe find himself 3 down, and Renegade wins the piv of a lifetime right there, denying APG of that triple kill, and now going to try to push forward and engage with the Alpha side. FaZe so close to victory, they can smell it, and with OpTic Gaming going 3 down, they're gonna simply slide in over toward the Alpha. A and B being handled by FaZe, where the OpTic members, they're still on respawn. A 2-1 lead coming for FaZe Clan. One more game and they're gonna become your champions here.
Wow, we're seeing a little bit of what we saw at the SSG Snowdown. FaZe, a dominant roster. It just what I'm noticing is the aggression. I feel like OpTic is being caught off guard with the aggression that FaZe is able to provide, especially like I've talked about before with, you know, Renegade now on the roster with Frosty. Frosty's able to kind of play a little bit more freely, and both of them playing aggressive like that just equals success. And here we are. We're going to a game number 4. FaZe are up 2-1 in the grand finals reset. It's up to OpTic Gaming to come back here. If they win this, we go to a game 5. They don't. They're going to have to come and play tomorrow with a lower seed. We'll see what happens.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If there's one thing I'll never do, that's count OpTic out. That's your back-to-back land champion. That's your world champion. Just talking about the MVP on one side and then nominee for controller player of the year on the other. I will never doubt OpTic Gaming. And you know me, I want to see a game 5. Absolutely. Oh, I love me some game 5. So for this one game and one game only, I'm gonna be an OpTic fan. Okay. I want OpTic to win it. Send us into a game 5, and then at that point, I don't care what happens. I just want to see some great Halo. It's gonna be here on Streets, on Oddball. We're gonna see what happens.
I'm on board with you, Tony, right away. I like the efficiency of OpTic here. They get the shoddy and hits as well as the ball rotated towards A. This is huge right at the start of the game. OpTic's starting strats are very solid. 3 down for FaZe right away, and this provides OpTic some incredible map control. When you have Frosty on the board there, he's gonna get those trades. Those trades are huge because now if you look, Frosty and APG are on the death screen, and Lucid as well. So FaZe had numbers potentially, but it's a back and forth with trades here.
Great kill out of Snakebite on the first one, but he's gonna be cleaned up real quick, and I love Formal with this Stalker rifle.
Yeah.
Centered shot, almost never missing, even has the Bulldog in the back pocket in case things get a little bit close quarters. This combination is so strong, but so are the spike grenades seemingly coming out of nowhere as Frosty's able to deal with him quick. OpTic finds some of the slaves they're looking for, but they can't quite get their hands on the ball. The timing not quite right to get into a full setup here for OpTic Gaming.
That angle is so difficult to see. Roll 2 is trying to shoot the guy on B rail, but there's a tree in the way. It's very difficult to see that player. Wasn't able to clean up the kill on a Lucid. But OpTic have a little bit of a lead here. No one's really able to establish control. Finally, OpTic get 2 dead. Will it be enough with that 3 down to get control of the map and get some ball time?
Pure Gunner coming in with the beautiful shots with the battle rifle. That's gonna net some good time for OpTic Gaming, and he tosses that ball over towards Lucid. So a bit of a transitional setup over toward the Bravo side, being held, and Trippy hiding in that arcade corner. Renegade not quite expecting it. Trippy may not have gotten the kill, but he did delay the push for FaZe right there. Now we're gonna find out if OpTic can take advantage, or will they do more damage to each other than they will the other enemy team.
21 seconds on the board, but honestly, that's not a lot of time, right? I wouldn't trade 21 seconds for a pair of rockets, because these rockets are gonna really prevent, well, they're supposed to really prevent the push. APG is gonna get 2 kills there with those, which means OpTic gets some more time, and World 2 has the Bulldog, so we'll see if maybe this Bulldog will come into play, but those rockets are null and void.
Yeah, you said you wouldn't trade 21 seconds of ball time for rockets, but would you trade 35 seconds? Would you trade 36? What about 37? Because as of right now, FaZe weren't able to use the rockets to stop OpTic Gaming, and now that ball being rotated all the way across the B side, almost over towards the Alpha side of the map, and FaZe end up going 3 down. Trippy can't quite deal with the final player, Renegade. Such a tough kill, but great time being earned by OpTic Gaming. Now, next time they get the rockets and they do the same thing, that might be round here for OpTic.
Yeah, well said. I mean, 37 seconds is a lot of time on the board. 2 minutes and 47 seconds remaining. You can see a little bit of slow play. They got to get some information first. They get the information, they're able to make the break happen. And here it goes. That info comes out. The first kill goes down, but 2 go down for OpTic. FaZe defense very strong in this situation. World 2 has to stay alive, but unfortunately, he's not able to.
Love the use of the Sentinel beam by Lucid right there. One of the players that embraces the sandbox, but it wasn't enough to take down 2, and that's really what OpTic needed as FaZe continue to hold on to the Alpha side of the map. Formal, though, making plays. That Stalker and Shotgun combination once again finds the hand of Formal, and once again stops FaZe from getting valuable ball time right there. This is a dangerous combination to have. Maybe some might say even more dangerous than the rockets. That Stalker from long range can absolutely delete you. The Bulldog goes bark, 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 and now Formal comes out with the real rockets. And this man is, forget about mastering the sandbox, he is the sandbox.
100%. All the weapons in his hand, able to utilize them as well. But all the while, Tony, FaZe have gotten 30 seconds on the board. With all those slays going through, it's not necessarily what you would think would happen, but Formal, last rocket in hand, is going to whiff that one with Lucid down and now Formal down. That's going to be at least 15 seconds on the board for this FaZe roster, but they can't really get this ball. Trippy is guarding it pretty well. We'll have to get a kill onto him first. The spike grenade's so very strong and he stays alive.
And of course, the caster's curse coming in from Tim. Thanks a lot for that one, because Trippy ends up going down. We'll send them a bill, Trippy. That was definitely his fault. What is that worth as far as the prize pool? That's about $50 you owe him at that point. Crap. 2 down for FaZe, but somehow still getting some good ball time here. World 2 going to retreat over towards the red side of the map. Snakebite gets himself a huge kill with the Bulldog. Not many times you see reptiles bark, but we're gonna see that coming out of Snakebite here. And multiple members of OpTic seemingly falling now here. They're not able to get in position. Ever since Trippy went down in that situation, FaZe kind of have controlled this side of the map and they're not letting go. Rockets are coming up. FaZe are controlling it. Can OpTic get in position here?
I like how OpTic's being a little more scrappy here in this situation, right? They're starting to get a little bit more ball time, even when they don't have numbers, and that's exactly what you need to see, especially on a map like this. They're approaching the 50-second portion, or they're approaching 52 seconds, I'm sorry, and that's going to be big for them. If they can continue to scrap up like this, they potentially win the game off of that.
Oh, Snakebite puts the Bulldog to use against Formal himself, the one who's really been manning the Bulldog almost all game. Big kill by Snakebite, but is it enough to break the defenses of OpTic Gaming? Frosty gonna try to fly it over toward the seaside. Down to one shot he goes, swaps out the Sentinel beam for a Stalker rifle. That's a great trade if you ask me. Watch out for those grenades, because OpTic using that as bait. Trippy dealing with Snakebite real quick, and now Frosty gonna continue to rain down shots with this Stalker rifle. It is so powerful here on streets.
That ball is in a very weird position on the bottom C stairs. It was actually about to reset, so that's why you saw Frosty go up there. But unfortunately, they're going to pay for that. 3 go down. Trippy with a triple. The Trippy triple. And now OpTic potentially with some control as they make their way bottom center. And that's it. They're going to win round number 1. OpTic 60-40 in round number 1. An incredible job at the very end to get all that scrappy time. That's the most important thing that I've seen them change in their game. You know, very disciplined, but when you have such an aggressive squad like FaZe, you've got to kind of play that scrappy role and just get all the time you can.
His name is Trippy. He drops straight trips. He's straight tripping right now. The man's going off, 18 kills. And now this time it's my turn to curse him because he does end up going down despite having the Rockets 3 hit the black screen for OpTic Gaming. FaZe, they might be able to get a hold of every single one of these power weapons, plus the ball, plus the setup. This is not good for OpTic.
Yeah, we saw this in round number 1, though. FaZe got full control of all the weapons at the very beginning. The question is, can they utilize them? This is a little bit of an overextension, but when you're Renegade, nothing is an overextension. He stays alive, and now he's going to be able to put some pressure on a tram.
Renegade sitting on the tram side with that Stalker rifle, and the rest of FaZe trying to get that B-side setup, but OpTic are able to sneak in and break it before they ever get that hold. It's almost like an MMA fight. You know, he wants to get that submission on you, but if you can just block it before he gets it locked in, that's what you're looking for, and that's exactly what OpTic were able to do. Break the setup before it gets locked in. Now they get into their own setup here. This should be some great time for them, and maybe they take the lead.
What stinks is that Renegade had the rockets in hand, but he opted to drop it for the better combo. We heard Old Man Mikowski talk about it earlier, the Stalker and the Bulldog. The only problem is he didn't rotate those rockets to his teammate, and Lucid ended up getting them and getting a kill onto him and breaking the setup, and now we're tied up 25-25 in terms of time. And it was all based off that rocket drop with one in the chamber. He could have potentially utilized that before getting that Bulldog.
Well, we're trying to put in work with the Stalker rifle. Eventually gets to lead it himself, but somehow OpTic still have that ball and still have the rotation. Actually, almost able to get it towards the purple side of the map, but it's in a reset and baitable position for OpTic to try to keep it as far away from FaZe as possible. If FaZe get these slays, they can maybe get to the setup of their own. And as I say that, OpTic do go 3 down. So Rule 2 is already on that ball, already trying to get it toward the subway side, but Lucid countering that immediately.
Some beautiful shots there, but FaZe do get the spawns on that side, and because the pressure is not fast enough, Frosty's potentially going to spawn there as well. And a huge kill by Renegade gives this FaZe roster even more numbers in this scenario, and potentially they can tie up this game 43. I'm sorry, they're in the lead 44-38. So they've gotten a lot of time on this rotation, but with the push from B, they decide to rotate back.
Cobra team halfway to victory.
Renegade and FaZe holding on to the tram side. OpTic not having the numbers to even contest this. Trippy, the only player alive for OpTic Gaming, so he's just gonna sit in the corner, wait for his spawners to come up, but it's really tough to watch that time just add up for FaZe as you're waiting for the spawners to come in. But the first kill down for both teams. Second one should fall here, and it looks like it's gonna be Lucid for OpTic Gaming. So FaZe, all they got to do is clear out this tram side, and they should be able to work on the spawning players and hopefully get back into that C-side setup. Easier said than done when you're dealing with OpTic Gaming, but Frosty making it look easy. Gets himself a double, almost a triple onto Lucid. Ball time being accumulated by Snakebite. While all this happens, the man has 115 seconds worth of OBJ right now. He's the only one touching this ball.
That's incredible. And 14 and 15, I mean, with that much time, you know, barely going negative is huge. But I got to talk about that push from OpTic. They had a great push on the tram, right? But FaZe did such a good job of just kind of rotating around and playing their life. They get all this time because of it. Now 8 seconds away from winning round number 2. And if they do that, we go to a round number 3, and potentially they can end this series there. But OpTic look like they want this. They're playing like they want this as well. Incredible plays by Frosty though with the, oh my goodness, the triple, the overkill! Frosty out of nowhere. The beautiful over with the stalker.
Frosty might have busted this game wide open because they only needed about 7 seconds in order to win the game. He puts all of OpTic onto the black screen, allows Snakebite to finish off the final seconds here. What a play by Frosty with the overkill, shutting down OpTic Gaming. One more round and FaZe are taking this tournament. OpTic, you better wake up.
Yeah, and you got to feel good about that one, right, Tony? Going to this next round, this last round, Frosty is going to have massive amounts of momentum. And he starts off with a kill right there. He's moving very aggressively here. The rocket's in the hands of FaZe. We've seen it in both rounds here. We're also seeing it in round number 3. FaZe's opening strat very solidified as they get all the power weapons once again.
Frosty now trying to rotate this ball back over towards Snakebite, who currently has the rockets, but the first 2 kills go in favor of OpTic.
Ball taken.
Not exactly what you're looking for there, so now FaZe have to reset as OpTic are now trying to move that ball over toward the A side of the map, which is exactly where OpTic are spawning. Snakebite gets in position with the rockets. That's going to be a huge kill as he takes down Lucid. Another player of FaZe now pushing over toward the B side, so you have a two-pronged attack coming in for FaZe as they try to snatch up this ball away from OG.
Two dead for FaZe Clan right now. The numbers are evened off though because of, I believe that was Renegade, but they know exactly where they're spawning on that PD side, so they can essentially just kind of poke and prod. You see not a lot of damage being taken here from Snakebite, but he's outputting so much, and this is going to allow the push to happen. Renegade already on that heaven side. You see right there, 3 go down. That's what a player on the back line does. Puts the damage in, is able to get damage and not take any, and allow for his team to open up the map. Beautiful job.
But that should have been good ball time for FaZe, and instead, Formal stays alive over toward the PD side, becomes an absolute nuisance, and the ball ends up being reset, and it looks like we might have had a little bit of a technical difficulties here. Little unfortunate, definitely unfortunate, but man, what a game so far. The Frosty overkill to end that round. Snakebite seemingly about to out OBJ the entire OpTic team by himself. And then also time and time again, OpTic making plays. We saw Lucid doing his thing. Trippy has been going off all game long. And even that final play from Formal, just staying alive in the PD side. And just milking his life when his team is 3 down. Those are plays that just don't show up in the stat sheet. You know, you can't put a value on that play, but I guess you could put a value on his overkill. Louis, show me that one more time, baby.
Here it is. Free shot, the triple, and then the over. That flick is so disgusting. Like slow motion. Look at this flick. Oh goodness, such a crazy flick for that over. APG was about to get away, potentially get away with the ball and force spawns on that back A side. But again, we will go to a reset. We're probably going to switch sides. That way the the spawns are the same. But one thing I want to point out here real quick is that in all 3 rounds, FaZe have gotten full control of almost every single power weapon. And I think, like, going into this reset, OpTic's got to really think about how to stop that from happening, right? Because it's given FaZe such an incredible advantage right at the start of the round. So if OpTic can potentially make sure that they get their hands on rockets, make sure that they get their first kills and get control of the map and get control of the power weapons, we could see a very different round number 3.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's not even just in this one game. We have seen multiple times now where FaZe just come out so hot in the early rounds. Like, whether it was Oddball on live fire in the last round, no matter what it was, FaZe just keep coming out hot, and OpTic have to do something to counter it.
That's absolutely right. We'll see if that counter happens. Incredible series thus far, though. Guys, if you're just joining us, we are in a grand finals reset. First of all, welcome. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this series. It's an incredible one. Whether you're a FaZe fan or an OpTic fan, we have an incredible season 2 in front of us. Very excited for that. But, as exciting as this series is, if you think it's exciting and you have a Twitch Prime sub and you want to support the casters, all the casters you've seen today, Magic, Old Man Mikowski, Tools, Tony, or myself, Active, you can support with a Twitch Prime sub. It's free. We take money from Jeff Bezos, who's already rich. Doesn't really matter. And, everyone wins, so don't let those Twitch Prime subs go to waste, and use them on LVT if you're enjoying yourself.
And by the way, guys, just want to let you know there was a bit of tech difficulty, so we're gonna get back into that game number 4. No winner's been decided yet. No game 5 just yet. Even though I'm trying to speak it into existence. You know what I'm saying? I want to see a game 5, but it's not decided just yet. Waiting on the admins to tell us, what exactly is going to be going on here, what exactly the ruling is. Luckily, I'm not one of them because I would never want to decipher this. They get yelled at all the time, but they get none of the praise. That's all I'm saying. So Streets Oddball still win this game number 4. And it's still OpTic that are desperately trying to fight at this game number 4, desperately trying to send us into that recharge slayer. FaZe have already reset the bracket, Tim. How crazy that in the grand finals, FaZe have already reset the bracket, and they are now 1 win away from becoming your champions here and getting that top seed going into tomorrow.
What's crazy to me, Tony, is like we, back in season 1 at least, we a lot of people called OpTic the online team, the team that was really good online, and then they ended up winning Worlds and they ended up winning Orlando as well. But I still think that OpTic is a very strong online team. FaZe, on the other hand, you have Renegade, who can't stand online. He hates it. You have, Snakebite, who has internet issues, and World 2's in Canada. So we got a lot of players on this roster that are online.
But what's wrong with Canada?
There's nothing wrong with Canada, but it's far away, Tony. It's far away. It's very far away.
You got a problem with Canada?
I love Canadians, Tony.
What's your problem with Canada?
I love them, eh? But listen, like that's the biggest thing, right? So it makes Charlotte so much more interesting. I think both teams will play very good on LAN. I love the way this game plays on LAN. I think it's beautiful. You talk to any pro player, and they'll say the same thing. This game is incredible. It's an incredible game overall, but on LAN, it's beautiful. Here we go, guys. First to one round. This is the last round of the game. This wins it all. The person to win this, if it's FaZe, they win the entire thing. They move on to tomorrow with the higher seed. There is tournaments on Monday and Tuesday, guys, just so you know. So make sure we catch you here tomorrow as well. And right off the initial break, we've got already FaZe with the power weapons in hand once again.
Yeah, we know right now. We know that Tim loves Game 5, so he wants the OpTic win, obviously, so we can see a Game 5. He loves LAN because he doesn't want connection involved, and for some reason he hates Canada. I don't know, guys. I don't know what's up with this, but Grand Finals, Frosty coming in with a double kill. We also even see the Stalker rifle do so much damage, which really allowed that double kill to happen. And now Renegade with the assault rifle in hands, chasing one away, able to deal with Lucid. OpTic thought they might have gotten an easy setup over towards the tram side, but everybody in this game is able to make a play on either side.
Great milk of the life there by Snakebite on your screen. It makes OpTic 3 down, gives them control once again at tram. You can see how patient, slowly going in there just to get some information, make sure no one is on that flank. There was only 3 down, so there's a member that they didn't know where he was. They were making sure that player was on the play. I believe that was Lucid. But again, in the hands of Snakebite, another power weapon. It's the Stalker.
This Stalker rifle, so much ammo in it. You can really just put separation between you and your opponent, because you have, against anybody in this lobby, like, you know, the Snakebites, the World 2s, it demands respect. But if you kill the players around the Stalker rifle player, at that point you put them in a 1v3, and that's exactly what OpTic Gaming do. They can't even respond to play the ball toward the mid map, so this is kind of free time happening for OpTic Gaming, and rocket launchers coming up as well.
Great play by Frosty there. He almost won the fight. Due to the gravity, when you drop off a ledge, you're a lot faster, so he drops off the ledge, almost wins that one. And now we're seeing a little bit of a change, right? 2 down for OpTic, but Formal has the rockets in hand. He's not able to get a kill with them. That is huge.
You lack a little bit of practice, you know. They know rockets and Apex or Overwatch, you know. He done forgot how to use the spanker. I don't know. FaZe putting OpTic Gaming 4 down. Snakebite coming in with the Stalker rifle and Bulldog, but look at OpTic Gaming getting the favorable spawns over toward the red side. A nice coordinated push can pressure FaZe right out of this base, and they can get some easy kills here. OpTic Gaming, they want to get these kills as fast as possible and not allow FaZe to respond, and that's exactly what you see. Even the Bulldog, not enough. The ball does end up getting played, so a bit unfortunate for OpTic, but great break over toward the tram side of the map.
We've got to talk about this though, right? They were at a disadvantageous position. World 2 goes in, gets the double kill, and now he's got control of the tram once again, and with Bulldog in hand, he's gonna play tons of defense here. Beautiful job, 55 seconds on the board. OpTic have to heat up here. We've got to see some players pop up. We've got to see that switch be flipped, because at this point, it's very, very difficult. It's going to be very difficult for them to come back with all the momentum that FaZe has.
A crazy lead coming out of nowhere for FaZe, and you know, I want to give OpTic credit because I thought they broke that tram setup so well. I thought they've played even without the resources well, but it's not reflecting on the scoreboard. FaZe are absolutely dominating here. Now we're going in a 69-24 lead in favor of FaZe. This is a nice lead. Formal does answer back with a double kill. Now gonna go right back in. He gonna make me pay for that comment. He coming in, love the slays. He must have heard me. He even gets himself the assist onto Snakebite, despite the fact that FaZe have rotated this ball over. OpTic have forced a play ball situation. Can they stay alive?
This is the thing though, OpTic just played that really well. They do go 3 down, which kind of diminishes my point, but they played it really well with their bait and switching. You can't really take on a 1v1 versus Frosty or Renegade. It's 2 of the best players in the game. Like, there's a reason why this roster is so very good. The individual skill is disgusting. You've got to bait and switch. You've got to take angles differently here, or you're gonna end up 3 down like they are right now.
Assault rifle out for Trippy.
Jeez.
3 down for both of the teams, so a little bit of a 1v1 situation, and that ball sitting in no man's land over toward the Bravo side. Both FaZe and OpTic are trying to surround it here. Don't want to allow either one of these teams any scrappy ball time, so these slays are going to be so important. It looks like OpTic the first one to go 2 down. APG answers back with a critical kill, making a critical double kill. Despite the fact that OpTic go 3 down, APG is still alive and still able to use this ball as bait, so FaZe can't overcommit to it. A great play by APG.
Yeah, great job by Roll 2 as well to stay back in the base. But again, those are the plays you need out of APG and all of OpTic. You need players to come out and win those low percentage fights. Unfortunately, 4 go down. 2 are on spawn for OpTic, and that means that FaZe has the ball in hand, and they're approaching 12 seconds remaining is all they need. Make that 10 to win this whole entire thing. 7 seconds. Tony, they're about to win it.
OpTic have taken control of the ball, but just a few seconds left for FaZe to come out with the win, so just one break is what's needed here. APG on screen doing excellent damage, but his teammate does end up going down to Lucid. Trippy's gonna try to clean up Frosty as they try to push over toward the alpha side, but where did Renegade come from? Bulldog and Stalker Rifle, this might be it. I don't know if OpTic Gaming can deal with it. The double kill, almost able to get the triple. World 2 sitting on the B railing side, and thankfully Lucid got the rockets, but nothing, absolutely nothing done as World 2 quickly deals with them, and that ball gets reset. FaZe working towards it. This might be the end for OpTic Gaming.
Yeah, it is. That is it. It looks like FaZe are gonna win your HCS Charlotte Open qualifiers and get themselves a beautiful seed for tomorrow's tournament. Don't forget, Monday and Tuesday, we got more tournaments ahead, guys. But I believe, from what I understand, Tony, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, but they use the points from season 1 to seed this tournament, and now this tournament seeds tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday's tournament, and that is for the qualifier for Charlotte itself. Am I correct?
That is absolutely right. We got some more amazing Halo in front of us, but it's tonight that FaZe are your champions. Woo! To get knocked down into the elimination bracket to begin with after a grueling game 5 by G1, and then have to fight their way through the elimination bracket. They had to claw their way out into the grand finals, into the bracket reset. The green wall crumble as FaZe going into tomorrow with so much confidence. My gosh.
What an incredible tournament overall. So many game 5s today. I think at one point, our stats man, Mr. Snow, said 30% of the games today were game 5s. That is an incredible statistic to have when you're talking about Halo. And it just goes to show that HCS Season 2 is going to be incredible. And I cannot wait to watch.
Woo. Oh, man. Tim, I'd have missed casting for before Halo, man.
Oh, me too, dude.
And especially at this level, you know, I didn't care who wins. OpTic, Native Red, I don't know, Reality Check. I couldn't care who won. I just wanted to see some top Halo, and that's exactly what we saw from beginning to end. How many upsets have we seen, Tim? How many game 5s have we seen? And even this grand finals where this new rivalry, because let's be honest, it's not going to be the last time these two are going to mix a little bit. It's going to be FaZe and OpTic in grand finals for a long time. They're going to be matching up. I also want to give a shout out, obviously, to G1, SSG, even Believe the Hype. Believe the Hype. Name's so nice. They put it in twice. They actually had an amazing tournament. So many came out, but somehow it's FaZe that emerged victorious, and FaZe that are your champions.
It's an incredible tournament overall, and to think that we still have tomorrow and Tuesday as well. More Halo to be casted. And I agree with you, Tony. I love casting that high-level Halo. Like Frosty said himself, it's like chess, man. It's, you know, every little move counts. Every play you make counts, and it's just a beautiful thing. And I just cannot wait to see the way this season plays out, especially the fact that SSG, like, I think they're they're obviously very strong on land. They didn't place outside of top 2 all of season 1. So I think they're going to come swinging at Charlotte as well. We got some great games on our hands coming up.
Wow. Great job casting, you guys. FaZe, congratulations. OpTic taking 2nd place. But remember, we're going to re-rack it and do it all again tomorrow and Tuesday as well. It's another 2-day tournament. We're literally running it back. And there's even more on the line here. These guys already did a good job of explaining exactly what it is that's going on. But Active, any last words before we wrap up the stream? Great job, by the way.
thank you. I really appreciate it. Great job to you as well. You didn't thank yourself yesterday, and it'd be weird if you did, but we got it. You know, you're the man behind it all. So thank you. Thank you to all the production team as well, and a thank you to the community, guys, and of course the other casters. I want to thank the other casters first. Mr. Snow, our stats guy.
Yep.
The casters, Magic, of course, Old Man Mikowski, Tools. Incredible job holding the fort before us. But I also want to thank you guys, the community, for supporting us with the Twitch Prime subs, the gifted subs. I didn't get to see any of them. I don't have the chat open, but I'll probably see them later on. I appreciate you guys so much for what you do. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. And then Tony, any wrap-up thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this tournament was absolutely phenomenal, and like you kind of said, you guys alluded to multiple times, we're gonna run it right back tomorrow and Tuesday. We're not done. So if you love Halo action like I do, make sure you guys are here. Tim already thanked everybody. The only thing I want to add in is also our amazing competitors. I want to make sure we add them because they put on a crazy show from beginning to end, and let's run it back, baby.